some mud in these weapon skins and get the exact same types of benefits without actually buying a single safe and drill.
Yeah, what's up? Alright, we're live. Can you see me? There's anything wrong with the camera, if it's lagging or whatever. I really hope someone says something. It's really late. I'm not sure if we'll get anyone in here, but whatever. I don't really. It's whatever. This isn't one of those. Ooh. Need to have a look. See. Are you talking about we drop frames? We drop a lot of them. Let me see. Okay. Well, there's the warning, but. Oh, that's a lot of drop to frame arena. Okay. This ain't gonna work. Did it work? No, then it didn't. Okay. Yikes. A lot of chop. Alright. That ain't gonna work. That ain't gonna work. Okay. Switch that webcam source. That's not. Good. Better. Let's check. Alright, appears to be better. Alright.
Okay, let's move on here. Okay. Okay, here we go.
All right. All right, we seem to be okay now. All right. Let's go ahead. I'll put that. Oh. Where should I even stick this? I'm not even sure. There we go. We'll do that. We done it? Is up? Ah,
Listen.
come on. Oh, what's up? What's going on, Kimmy? What's going? God damn it. Hopper. Whew. So late. I didn't expect anyone to come in. It was weird. Resting from the surgery. You had surgery? Oh, I mean, more surgery? Because I know I saw the other video we were talking about that you had surgery. Or is this still resting up from the same surgery? I've been losing track of time. I've been so like very like away from the online space and all that. Been all right. Yeah. Oh, 2. Oof. Rough. What's out? Oh, what's going on, man? Oh, boys. This is a big yikes. I did not expect anyone to come right now, or the people who would. I expected to not be you guys. I don't want anyone to walk away hating me for what I'm about to do. But I love you, and I appreciate you very much. Ooh. Relevant thing. Me and my fucking wife, we were playing what the fuck is it? Tekken Tag Tournament 2 on the PS3. That shit is so ugly. And for some reason, like, aside I think from like Jun Kazama, no chick in that game has an ass. And I have no idea why that is. It's so weird. It's so weird. Oh, what's going on, Nero, man? Welcome back, dude. Been a while. How's it going? Oh, I heard it was your birthday a couple weeks back or so, right? Happy belated, man. Yeah, that shit was pity. I thought this shit in Tekken 7 was like a little uncanny, but man, I don't know what the fuck Havoc did with when they got a hold of the Tekken engine. They just, boy, you can see that they are definitely some tit loving boys. Tits were wobbling and wobbling, just doing their thing, and there was just no ass. There was no ass anywhere to be found. And in 2019, I'm pretty sad, but games from another time. It'll be alright. I love it looks right now. Like, look how good this camera looks right now. Look at this. It looks like amazing. Like, this is amazing. Now I really feel like I'm getting my fucking $200 worth with this fucking Brio right now. This is like amazing. I don't even know how I got it calibrated like this, but let's hope that I want this shit forever, man. That was March. Hey, things happen, all right? This time is just running away from me. Oh man. Tekken has never really had ass. I mean, yeah, maybe, but I feel like when Havoc got a hold of it with Tekken Tag Tournament 2, they greatly reduced it. Like, fucking, like you know, I fucked heavy with Asuka. Her character model in Tekken Tag Tournament 2 is just concave. Like, what the fuck? Like, she at least, even in her introduction in like Tekken 5, had like a little, you know, little bubble booty, whatever, little something. My nigga, that shit was crazy. I would not. It's not even pancake. We fucking tortilla ass. Like that's how flat we're talking. That shit is fucked up. I'm like, why would they do this? They were fine. They were fine with their little bubble butts. And the same thing with like Nina Williams as well. Like Nina Williams has always been kind of like a you know femme fatale and like whatever, and they got a little bit of ass on it. And it's just gone in this game. Like it's just gone, and I don't know why. Maybe a little bit in the wrong game for ass. Yeah, probably. I guess I only noticed it like for the most. It's like it's not really that much ass at all. But once it's gone, you really notice. Like it's so odd. It's weird. Well, weird. Also, I don't know how they somehow managed to make Bruce Irving look even worse in that game. Depending on which level you pick, and the lighting, just like sometimes he'll look like this fucking big, like more like this black god, and the other times he looks like just an ashy crackhead who can kick your ass. Like I'm like, why y'all do my man's like this? Do my man's like this? Calibrate the engine to play nice with darker skin tones, or don't put them in. Come on, what is that? What is that? What is that? Come on now. Terrible. Terrible. Like, what is this? Got niggas out here looking ashy. I mean, yeah, That is more boob action. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Like that's a DOA's thing, with the jiggle physics especially. So there's not really much aside from this one. I never really noticed like a big jiggle physics or whatever. Tekken series. It's really jarring. But it's okay. I know. That's what I was doing. Round turkey tacos. Good. Oof. I don't eat turkey. Only time I eat turkey is in like a sandwich or on Thanksgiving, man. And missing with the turkey zone. This is a no turk zone. Oh shit, that sounds racist, huh? I forgot that Turk is actually a kind of person. This is the people Turkey are called. They're called. Oh, all right. Don't be like me, kids. Don't be accidentally racist. Unless you're from Sweden, then you can get away with it and can just go on being a millionaire. Then fine. All right. You follow me on Twitter? I don't even know. Did you? Do you? I see you pop up in my who to follow sometimes, but whenever I ever hovered over your thing, it doesn't say that you're following me. I don't know. But yeah. Turkey lives matter. That's right. Keep them alive and off of my plate. Unless it's Thanksgiving or it's a sandwich. This whole week, aside from like one day, I've just been taking nothing but turkey, mustard, cheese sandwiches to work for lunch. And stealing my kids' fruit snack. I don't care. It's mine. They're mine. I bought them, so they're mine. I don't care. What about what's Contrapoints, what about him? They'll see in a second, my dude. Also, it's I don't know when the last time you ever watched one of their videos, but they've transitioned like I don't know, from like they've been transitioning for like a year now. It's been her for a good minute. Anyway. Dewey are doing that. Okay, it's her. And Dewey, I don't know. It depends on what it is. It depends on what it is. I don't agree with Natalie on everything. But we're of the same mind on most things. But this one video I found is cool. Is man.
Hey, listen.
Yeah. That to his jeans. Oh shit, boys. And then and then there it is. There's God damn it. I had a feeling I shouldn't have put her name in the title. Alright. It's a good one. Did I see? Yeah, I saw it. I saw her. I think. Well, I saw mostly of her. I saw her in the what was it? That the Nintendo Switch commercial. I got it on YouTube. I was watching it at work. Looks pretty badass. I'm not gonna lie. Oh, my kid broke my Switch. I'm so sad. Like, oh my god. I'm so upset about that shit still. I'm just flat out triggered. Oh my god. Alright. Let's pop that. There we go. Now we're looking. Alright. But anyway, so like yeah. The people who regularly are here, probably play video games later or something. Right now. I don't know why YouTube is crawling me to watch this dude's videos, because they just keep recommending them to me. I don't know how he keeps ending up, but maybe it's because he uses a relevant tag like Contrapoints or something. So they're like, oh, you watch that, so you probably want to watch this. So yeah, but obviously I don't want to watch it for the most part. That's whatever. Fuck it. We're watching it. All right, everyone, be good. Tap in.
Contrapoints is
Tell that to science, son. There it is, science. It is so pretty. He's talking about Julia Chang. From Tekken. Oh my god. I don't know, man. We'll say we'll get through a little more of the video and then we'll come back to you. Corpus. Lady. Thanks, man.
Is Anita Sarkeesian 2.0. Okay, another day to...
You disagree that Contrapoints is a dude according to science. Yes, I disagree. So you know what, we're just gonna get this out of the way because I know it's just gonna keep coming up on over. What is this fucking article? Nature. And I think this is. There we go. Nature, one of the most big, widely known and cited fucking journals. They also have a magazine. Sex redefined. The idea of two sexes is simplistic. Biologists now think there is a wider spectrum than that. As a clinical geneticist, Paul James is accustomed to discussing some of the most delicate issues with God damn it, with his patients. But in early 2010, he found himself having a particularly awkward conversation about sex. 45-year-old pregnant woman had vomited. I need my fucking glasses so bad. Why is this so small? How do I make this bigger? Come on, don't do this. Embarrassing. Stop it. There we go. A 46-year-old woman had visited his clinic at the Royal Melbourne Hospital in Australia to hear the results of an amniocentesis? What is this? What is this word? Let's Google that word. Computer, explain to me. It's a medical procedure used in prenatal diagnosis of chromosomal. It's that thing where they test your kid for like Down syndrome or whatever. The test to screen her baby's chromosomes for abnormalities. The baby was fine, but follow-up tests had revealed something astonishing about the mother. Her body was built of cells from two individuals, probably from twin embryos that had merged in her own mother's womb. And there was more. One set of cells carried two X chromosomes. The complement that typically makes a person. Why does it say the complement? That's not how that works, right? That should be the combination that typically makes a person female. The other had an X and a Y. Halfway through her 5th decade and pregnant with her 3rd child, the woman learned for the first time that a large part of her body was chromosomally male. That's kind of science fiction material for someone who just came into an. I don't know how to say that word, says James. That's gonna be much more complicated than it at first seems. According to the simple scenario, the presence or absence of a Y chromosome is what counts. With it, you are male, and without it, you are female. But doctors have long known that some people straddle the boundary. Their sex chromosomes say one thing, but their gonads, ovaries, or testicles, or sexual anatomy say another. Parents of children with these kinds of conditions, known as intersex conditions, or differences or disorders of sex development, DSDs, often face difficult decisions about whether to bring up their child as a boy or a girl. Some researchers now say that as many as 1 person in 100 has some form of DSD. When genetics is taken into consideration, the boundary between the sexes becomes even blurrier. Scientists have identified many of the genes involved in the main forms of DSD and have uncovered variation in these genes that have subtle effects on a person's anatomical or physiological sex. What's more, new technologies in DNA sequencing and cell biology are revealing that almost everyone is, to varying degrees, a patchwork of genetically distinct cells, some with the sex that might not match that of the rest of their body. Some studies even suggest that the sex of each cell drives its behavior through a complicated network of molecular interactions. I think there's much greater diversity within male or female, and there is certainly an area of overlap where some people can't easily define themselves within a binary structure. Says John Archman, who studies sex development in endocrinology at University College London's Institute of Child Health. These discoveries do not sit well in a world in which sex is still defined in binary terms. Few legal systems allow for any ambiguity in biological sex, and a person's legal rights and social status can be heavily influenced by whether their birth certificate says male or female. The main problem with the strong dichotomy is that there are intermediate cases that push the limits and ask us to figure out exactly where the dividing line is between males and females. There's Arthur Arnold at the University of California, Los Angeles. Was at UCLA, who studies biological sex differences. And that's often a very difficult problem because sex can be defined a number of ways. All right. So that's like the thing. Like science, at least anywhere past a 4th grade level, doesn't agree that like Contra is strictly just a boy or a girl or whatever. Because it seems to be that a lot of people are a patchwork of whatever. So like if we're going to go by a gene, if you have a gene that's still technically female, but you are supposedly a dude, you have a dick. Well, and even if we're going by genes, then genetically, you are a female. And the same thing vice versa, if that's how you're going to define sex. But that would be really weird and stupid, and I would never go around calling myself a female because I may have a gene or two or whatever that happens to be technically female. Like that doesn't make sense to me. What makes sense to me is that there are social things that I feel like make me a man, and I identify with them because probably just like a various of reasons, from upbringing to my own personal comfort to just the idea of it or whatever. That's that. I'm not gonna sit here and read this whole fucking article. Hold on. Anyone can go and read that. Oh my god, I need to work on my fucking fluency, my dude. That was terrible. Oh, dude. Oh. There we go. And then the same thing they put out. This is more so an editorial. But as far as I know, Nature is always written, and anything published, even if it's an editorial, is from experts. So, like, yeah, I don't know. Scientists seem to disagree. I don't know. These are just news websites reporting on that same article. All right. God damn it, the actual video. Also, let's catch up. What am I looking at? Gonna be interesting. Plays Mega Man and Mega Man X out of spite. Just kidding, just kidding. Hey, dude, that's rock on, dude. Fucking Mega Man X. Wish I had access to it. Well, I technically do, but we can't talk about that live on Twitter. Also, your fire alarms. Rip. Yeah, I need to change its battery. But I'm a fucking manlet, and I loaned my stepladder to somebody, and I haven't gotten it back yet. So, Ripperino, we're all gonna die. It was nice knowing you guys, okay? It was nice meeting you. Right? Can you explain to me how left-wing politics went from economics to now weird social issues? Weird social. I mean, it's kind of always been that way. Like, if you look back of, like, all of these things, if we're going to go, like, all the way back to, say, like, Marx or whatever, most of his things weren't just an economic thing, but the social relations between classes, right? And what that's built upon, right? Those classes were built by their relations to the means of production, interacted with each other, their subservient or oppressive ways or whatever, based on that. So, like, they've all kind of been linked. I guess what you mean is, like, the shift in focus, and things have to change as things go on, right? You know, like, we have on the census, you can identify as biracial, right? But when my mom was a kid, if you were black and something else, you're just black. Like, that's it. I mean, some people still view it that way, but, you know, the state definitely, like, didn't recognize, like, that as a thing. Political strategies and structures shift and change over time as different things become relevant. So now there's, like, this certain, like, a wave now of a certain, like, uptick in biracial people being born, there is this thing on the census. So now that there is a certain wave now of people, say they're women, black people, gays, trans people, immigrants, legal and otherwise, legal and undocumented, who have issues that are, you know, relevant to our current day. You know, we shift gears and try to take care of those people. At the end of the day, it's about, you know, the underprivileged, working class. And that includes black people, that includes trans people, that includes, you know, like just about everyone except for, like, you know, the couple of rich fucks who own just about everything. Though also technically it does include like Kanye West and millionaire rappers or whatever, because they technically are workers. A lot of these people, they don't own their actual labor, and they don't even own necessarily the music that they put out and stuff like that. And the same thing with like actors and movie writers on stuff. I don't know, this shit's complicated, but that's the general thing. It's relevant to current day, like, right? Like at the times of Marx, like there was the idea of even giving two shits about what, for example, I don't know, black people were so upset about, was just unheard of. Okay, but how the fuck do you disagree with centuries of science that establishes that humans as a species has two genders? I mean, it kind of just back to the same thing, right? It's a shift in perspective based on how things have changed. The expert opinion has shifted away from viewing gender in a binary and saying that it's, well, did we say gender? That's sex. Well, he said gender. Well, gender is the social thing of like wearing this kind of hat or wearing this shirt, as opposed to like spaghetti string, whatever that might expose like my cleavage. The fact that I'm not wearing a bra right now, or that I'm wearing boxers as opposed to Victoria's Secret stuff or whatever. That's a thing. That's the gender part. And I guess the sex part is the fact that I have testicles or whatever. A wing dang do. But even that appears to be like a thing that just doesn't line up perfectly, right? It appeared to be that it more so on a spectrum, because when we put in a binary, we miss out on a lot of people. Apparently, like according to an article, according to the data that they cited, that's like 1 in 100 people have some sort of DSD. Like that's a lot of people. Like out of every 100 people who are born, one of them is, I don't know, what word do you call it now? Some form of intersex. Like that's missing a lot of people. So we shift the model. You know, that's a part of science and scientific inquiry. As things change, you change your model to make sure that it lines up with reality. The model used to be shit about, you know, we thought the sun went around the earth and whatever. You get it. That Nature Journal headed it, especially when it published this trash. Ooh, I mean, that's okay. Nowadays rarely actually check the content of what is published, because there is just so much shit that gets sent. Maybe? I don't know. I would hope that ones that, especially ones that aren't like obviously like pay to play and not like that well respected or whatever, are not doing shit like that. But I have heard of like especially less reputable journals letting people get away with whatever. Let's see. Why I think that woman actually became a woman. Alright. Oof. With access to the owner's account. Oh. Oh god. Last and cooperate. Okay, there we go. Okay, now we're gonna watch the actual video. God damn it. What happened? Did the guy leave? I guess it's okay. Whatever. No, yeah, he's probably right, right? Like, my reading with fluency is just terrible. Like, I can really read really fucking fast in my head, but like reading out loud is not a strong suit. It's been a while since I've ever had to really do that. Unless it's like a storybook. But yeah, let's watch the video.
To check my social media, what's in store? I'll look at the comments of my videos. Hey Prince, I've been a fan of you for a really long time. What's your opinion of Contrapoints? I personally really like you both. Well, it's kinda odd that you watch my channel and yet enjoy Contrapoints, because I'm pretty much the polar opposite in terms of ideas, and I make certain to be clear about explaining my views, as opposed to Contra, who seems to purposefully avoid saying much of anything tangible at all, besides strawmanning and mocking right-wing people, centrists, and coming up with paranoid fantasies about alleged fascists. That is untrue. Maybe you just cannot follow Natalie because of a personal...
Just for sure. I mean, yeah. There can be a lack of rigor for things that are like around like social issues, especially. Right? Like that's like a thing. But like in this one, we're looking at fucking like nature, and then he's like, they're not real because I don't know, like fuck their reputation and all the other good research they've ever put out or communicated to the public in effective ways. We're fucking, they don't align with what I say or what I was taught about what makes a person a boy or a girl when I was in kindergarten. So fuck them. And then I just, man, it's a big oof. Big oof. I don't understand. I really don't understand. I don't know. It's fine.
Personal issue you have with understanding highly intellectual video essays. Huh? Yeah, I think the problem is that I do...
I mean, yeah. I mean, but on like when people like bring like that sort of thing up, you could say that about like any and everything, right? But what I noticed a lot on the internet and in the political sphere, the thing that's met with the highest amount of scrutiny and like that skepticism is always something that would seem to confirm with, say, a left-wing ideology, right? Like if you say things like there are only two genders, well, that's just unquestionable dogma. And the data that we have, like, which that's what that article said, right? Like the data that we had was not necessarily correct. We left out 1 in 100 people with a binary. So we're saying it's a spectrum now. And there are people who, and someone who was just here said, this scientific journal that's been doing good work for fucking years consults various experts from everywhere relevant to the field. And they're just like, they're fucking wrong. What the fuck? Oh, God. All right. That data, no, man, that data is not wrong. That's not whatever. That's that shit I was taught. That's that good shit. That's that shit I was taught when I was a little bappy. But this shit, this new shit, that weird shit, the blue fire, no. Fuck it. Get out of here. Done. Whatever.
follow the videos, yet most people don't, and they just tune out and think it's either typical SJW nonsense not worth bothering with, or assume that it was highly intellectual because they don't know any better.
No, you're just jealous because Natalie is brilliant and funny and beautiful and has enough subscribers to make you look like an ant, you fedora-wearing neckbeard.
Okay, there's a lot of people that have more subscribers than I do who I'm by no means jealous of or aspire to be like, such as No BS, who isn't constantly promoted by corporate leftist media, by the way. Being jealous of Contrapoints would be kind of like being jealous of Brittany Murphy around the time that she made the movie Spun. Let me guess, you're also fans of Anita Sarkeesian.
No, of course not. Anita Sarkeesian sucks, but Natalie makes really great content because she understands the right wing. None of what you said changes our opinion at all. Natalie is bae, and you are incel.
Alright, time for a trip to the store. Hey, it's Prince of Queens, and I absolutely cannot be the only content creator who's noticed the
Was weird. That was really weird. Like, that was really weird. Also, are people still doing the NPC meme? Is that a thing still? I had no idea. Weird. The NPC meme is good and all, but I'm dying in Strawman. Yeah, it's really weird because, like, in the middle of that opening section, he accuses Natalie of strawmanning right-wing people while strawmanning anyone, like myself or whatever, who would white knight for Natalie. So, is it strawmanning is bad, or is it only bad if Natalie does it to you? Which, for me, honestly, I'm willing to let you have those creative liberties. What's a liberty? What's a liberty? Ugh, liberty? Liver. My liberty to eat liver if I want to. All right. I'll let you have those creative liberties, right, in order to keep your video entertaining. That's fine. Like, that's cool, dude. It's the same thing with Natalie, or like any fucking visual medium, right? You have to use shorthand, right? Like, you can't have every single fucking black character in your show or whatever it is that you're trying to communicate is the type of black person who, say, grew up somewhere like Chicago or something, and give them this backstory. And like, no, you give them an accent. You give them something that they wear or something that lets you know what the fuck time it is. Right? And it's the same thing with her videos and the same thing with what he did. That happens. Yeah, you're going to strawman some people. Yeah, you're going to employ a little bit of some stereotypes. But, like, the other alternative is what? Videos, movies, and everything else that's just way too long for no fucking reason? Because we have to sit there and painstakingly write out exactly why this person is this way, and that like, dude, no. These are YouTube videos, not fucking academic journals. Like, what the fuck is that? If you want that sort of debate or whatever, go to academia. Why the fuck do you expect this from YouTube videos? Like, for me, I wasn't even bothered by the opening section. I'm just bothered by his hypocrisy.
The swaths of Contrapoints fanboys seemingly everywhere, to the point where it's suspicious. Now, although this video will mostly be about the literal most heinous and what I would guess to be corporate-sponsored creator on all of YouTube, I need to first go over Anita Sarkeesian to properly make my point.
Oh, no, the Liberty thing was because I accidentally pronounced that B as a V. Maybe it just didn't come up on the mic, but I said you can have those creative liberties instead of liberty. Is on this one. Yeah, I mean, I don't really know too many that are of like that good or bad. I don't know. I'm trying to think. I don't know. I kind of left the conservative hiding behind some sort of avatar thing alone like a while ago. Because I feel like they rest on their laurels a lot, right? Because like the internet, especially YouTube, is very right wing dominated, right? So like it feels like they don't feel a need to attempt to argue anything. They just repeat the same sort of like right wing whatever to placate to like the audience that exists there for that content. And it's not anything that necessarily even attempts to really engage with someone like me. So like for me, it's just like, I don't know, like there's no reason for me to watch it. Oof. He looks constipated right there, but also a little happy about it. Weird. Am I in school? Maybe.
Point. Even though a lot of you will know everything about her and will find this part semi-boring. Anita Sarkeesian marketed herself as a feminist game critic and rose to internet pop cultural icon status in 2014 with her propaganda series Tropes vs. Women. Her channel, Feminist Frequency, began getting a ton of attention with the Gamergate controversy, as she nitpicked inconsequential or generally non-remarkable bits and pieces of games to basically say that games caused men to be sexist, violent, extra violent towards women specifically, and that they generally encouraged toxic masculinity, however she actually defined it.
What? So he's just gonna like say that and not like cite a clip from her where she said that, or like he's gonna show some random like this tweet. Like, what is that? Yeah, not a coincidence. It's always men and boys committing mass shootings. The pattern is connected to ideas of toxic masculinity in our culture. How is that a thing of saying that she said that video games made men violent and especially violent towards women? Nowhere in that tweet does she mention video games. What? And also just to give up the ghost on this one. I used to be one of these people. Right? Like, I used to think that she was bad. I used to have videos, at least 2 or 3, of me going through painstakingly trying to nitpick every single thing that this fucking woman said. And now revisiting it as a person who wasn't triggered beyond all belief because the mean lady said something bad about my video. She never said that fucking video games made us more violent or more susceptible to committing violence, especially particularly against women. It was essentially, it's just a fucking tropes. It's TV tropes, but for video games as videos. But specifically all the tropes that are about like females. So like damsel in distress, the Smurfette principle, etc., etc. So box standard, so 101 shit, and like I don't even know how the fuck anyone found it offensive now. Like what the fuck? Like a trope in something can be sexist, and you could enjoy that thing and not be sexist, and that's like a thing that she literally said like over and over again. Like, oh my God, like, I can't believe that I ever fell for this grift. I feel so fucking stupid every time I think about it. Like, every time she comes up, I think about how fucking stupid I had been. Like, oh my God. Like, oh my God. Oh my God. I just want to go back to 2014 and fucking just shoot that little fucker in the head. Fuck that kid. Oh my God. And I mean me. Like, I mean me, as in me in 2014, as a little shit. Who's like, damn, you little fucking bitch, you don't know nothing. You don't even play video, you bitch. Ah. Oh my god. Oh, the cringe. Oh. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. How old was I in that time? Was that 5 years ago? I'm 20. Like 17? I don't know. Something like that. Either way, hashtag kill young me. Oh, dude, I was a piece of shit. I was a piece of shit. And I used to believe this shit. But it's just like factually incorrect. You can disagree about like whether or not those tropes, like it's okay for them to be there. But all she did was point them out and point out that they are sexist. And they are. Like they are. And making your story where some of the only like female presence in the story is like someone's wife or some shit where she dies to, you know, get a cheap tearjerker going. Like that's fucked up. Like that's fucked up. Like she's barely even a character, barely even a person in the story. She's just there to try and get presumably us dudes or whatever to cry. It's like, oh man, Dom's wife, dude, that's so fucked up. It did get me. It still gets me when I play Gears 2, okay? But I recognize that is what happened. Dom's wife is barely even a person or a character in Gears of War. She's not. Just not a fully realized character. That's it. That was there to get, you know, some cheap pathos going, and it got me. And it's fine if it got you too. It happens. We're only human. Please stop being triggered at people pointing out just like obvious shit. But the point is, like, she didn't say that. And if anyone wants it, we can after we watch this video, I can literally pull up her videos and show you that she did not say any of that shit. Like, if anyone's actually interested.
Didn't agree with her overall message, which most of them didn't, but because it was seemingly never possible to please this alleged game critic, as all she ever did was focus on essentially everything in these games besides the actual gameplay or legitimate nuances of the stories in favor of complaining about the way
it's oversaturated, and also there is that clout that you can chase. And all you gotta do is talking through the mic. So I mean, quality can be varied. Yeah. I don't know. I really wouldn't care, right? Of like whatever. It's just, I don't know. It feels like they don't really seem to engage. Like they don't really like make like an argument, right? Like it's like they'll pick someone who's like crazy or seems crazy or whatever, and use that as like evidence for why this point of view is wrong, as opposed to telling you why it's wrong, right? Like it's like they make it to like it's this weird, I don't know, I don't think this is like a real like fallacy or whatever, but I consider it fallacious reasoning, where essentially if you yell, you're wrong, right? Which I'm assuming if you've been around these parts of YouTube, you know about like the clip of like Big Red. If you go back and listen to that shit, nothing that she said is wrong. She was rude as fuck. Well, she was cursing at him and telling him to shut the fuck up and all this other shit, which is like not useful at trying to convince anybody. Sorry, like that was probably bad. But what she was reading out was not really objectionable, or hardly even that extreme. Like, if you're remotely familiar with any sort of feminism or social justice stuff, like it, like whatever. But she's a monster and demonstrably like wrong. And people, when I say this sort of stuff, even people who are on the left say that, like, even if they agree, they say I shouldn't say this in public, or they just completely disagree because they've fallen into the trap of she yelled, so she's wrong. If you yell, lose, which maybe I don't know if you're having your Discord rated or whatever by 4chan. If you cry, you lose, but that's not how I tend to approach conversation debate. That seems really stupid to me. I mean, she's not the greatest person. She had people donate money to her for her YouTube channel, and then just went to YouTube and used their free shit. Also, she is having people pay her to make a Discord. What are we talking about? Oh, right. Oh, we're talking about Sarkeesian, yeah? I don't know, dude. The establishment of a Discord or whatever at certain Patreon goals or whatever it is, or is like a thing that I've seen other content creators do or whatever. It's extra effort and it's extra fucking whatever to deal with the people who fuck with your content. And then if you're a public figure, like her, who's very public, and then this Discord it's possible they can be infiltrated, and then now people have found you, and they might inundate your fucking Discord DMs with like all their vile garbage and odd strawmans of your positions. Like, ugh, yeah. I don't know. It is a little icky though on its face. Like, I don't know if I can really approve of that. But for me, I'm like, yeah. Plus, plenty of people who make all kinds of money on YouTube, or still who have Patreons, they go and use the YouTube space. So I don't really see why that would be a big of a deal.
Way women were depicted in them, or could be depicted in them if you chose to break the rules of the games. However, outside of the actual gaming world, while countless people would love to pretend that this wasn't the case, all sorts of people thought that Anita presented valuable insights into how to change for the better a male-dominated and generally problematic industry and fandom. And as sad as it is for me to admit, I was kinda one of those people for a second. I remember seeing her video about women as rewards and thinking that it made enough sense, though I hadn't been gaming for about a decade. However, I had watched that video living in San Francisco when I was using way too many substances, I was probably stoned at the time, and was surrounded day and night almost exclusively by gay men, so it took me removing myself from that environment by moving cities to realize that there was a massive problem with the feminist worldview at its very foundation due to feminism's hostile takeover of gay male culture, which eventually landed me on YouTube, watching videos like these.
Games, Lara's butt is typically right in the center of the screen, a camera orientation which, along with the sexualized clothing the designers choose to outfit her in, places a tremendous amount of emphasis on that part of her body.
Actually, Laura's butt isn't in the middle there, Anita. In science, we're taught quite early on how to use straight lines for this sort of thing. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot that mathematics is just a tool of the white supremacist capitalist patriarchy.
All of a sudden,
why did he just... That's so lazy. He just cited a Thunderfoot video. And I don't, like, that was so weird. I'm not even sure. I feel like that the weird butt video was like just fucking weird. It feels like just like a padding, because she felt like she had to make something else. But like also Chief, she's still in the middle of the frame depending when you're running. So the way that the first game's camera is set up is you run, and when she goes like this, and we don't play the game looking over like that. We don't play it like that. We play with the running like that, and it tends, and especially when you're climbing in the first games, you're basically staring right up her asshole. Like that seems to be a thing in this game, but I don't know if it's sexism or just shitty cameras of the 5th generation of fucking 3D gaming. Like, why? why? Like he could have just downloaded a fucking ROM or bought the Steam version of this game for like a fucking buck and tested it out himself and saw that generally was the thing, and he could have just made the argument that I made at the end there. I'm like, is this really sexism, or is this just, you know, shitty camera systems of the 5th generation of fucking video game consoles, you know, when people were making the leap to 3D gaming? Why do this? Well, I know why, because you can get away with it, right? Because most people already agree with him about her. So like everything that he says, even if some things are wrong, when I've noticed him talking to people, when they try to cite things like Thunderfoot videos or whatever it is, even when things are wrong, generally they walk away from the thing with their minds generally unchanged, because it's not about changing that these persons or people or whatever have already validated what they thought. So even if they get something just flat out factually incorrect, it's fine, because they shat on the libs or whatever. Which is why he's still citing this video, even though like it's been proven like a couple times now that in his crusade against her, he's misquoted her and cherry picked her a lot of times. Which one of the most notable versions was Sean of Sean and Jen fucking pointed out like a long time ago now, but that was weird.
Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot that mathematics is just a tool of the white supremacist capitalist patriarchy.
It just did it. It just did it. It just did it in that same frame as he was finishing that sentence. It just did what I said as she was running. As she was running, the camera was starting to recenter in a way that fucking made it like you were essentially looking up her asshole. What the fuck? As he spoke. It was happening as he speaks. Oh my god. I used to think this fucker was like on point. Wow. Oh my god. Kill all young Mabaseis.
Patriarchy.
All of a sudden, it was quite clear to me, and seemingly everybody who was actually paying attention, that Anita was using fallacious logic to desperately...
But it wasn't like every character, male and female, had that camera angle. That's kind of true. That is a point in her favor. There wasn't a lot. Tomb Raider was kind of unique for having that honestly shitty camera angle. That basically we're about to take a trip up her colon. That's definitely I hadn't thought about that. Like I said what I had said, but like, you know, because I don't really remember anything really doing like that. Like Crash Bandicoot wasn't like that. I guess you could say maybe Spyro was like that, but even then, like that's like a dragon. I feel like the big centerpiece there seems to be his big ass head.
Pin sexism onto any video game as if she was somebody who had only ever watched people play video games as opposed to playing them herself, for if she did, she'd have realized that the last thing anybody ever did while playing Tomb Raider was stare at Lara Croft's butt, because if they did, they'd die and have to start over. And I used to play that game. And so, it was to absolutely nobody's surprise when it turned out that she wasn't a gamer at all, and she was entirely a fraud.
Go 6 had the best camera angles, don't at me.
Games. So it's not exactly a fandom. I'm not a fan of video games. I actually had to learn a lot about video games in the process of making this.
To add insult to injury, she had stolen all of her gameplay footage from other people's game playthrough channels, which people figured out after she got some fairly major details in the storyline of the games dramatically wrong, such as the way she tried to claim that the point of one of the Hitman Absolution games was to beat up innocent strippers, because reasons, when in actuality, you were supposed to do no such thing and you were deducted points for doing it. It was at that moment
You could get your points back by just hiding the bodies. And this is what Dan Olson of Folding Ideas called the Thermian argument. So if you go in and you criticize a piece of art, it's like, hey, I really didn't like how, and I don't know, Goblin Slayer, how somewhat of explicit they were about that depiction of rape, especially in the first episode. And I don't know, I feel like it was a little gratuitous. I really didn't need to see the little fucker, like, with all the other little fuckers holding her down, and like the first one, like, achieving penetration. I didn't really need to see that. We know what they do, like, right? Like, it's established what goblins get up to when they get a hold of somebody if they happen to be female already in this thing's universe. So it's like, I don't know. We could have definitely used some implied or whatever. It seemed weird that you would put that in there. And then they respond with, well, that's what goblins do. Weren't you reading it? Weren't you watching the show? Which that sidesteps the criticism in general. Like it just, like, no, like that doesn't answer my criticism and doesn't answer my question. Like, why would you do that? Right? Like the author put it in there on purpose. He didn't accidentally draw a rape scene. He did it on purpose. And the thing is like, why? Right? Like, it's pretty well known whatever already, and there are ways to do it that don't involve showing me a little fucking monster penetrating a person who's being held down. Right? Like, I don't have to see that. But they decided that I did need to see that as the audience. And then responding with, well, in the game or the manga or whatever thing's universe, that's just how it is no argument at all. It's like, it's the Thermian, he calls it the Thermian argument. It means nothing. Like, okay, why is it that way? That's what my criticism and my question is about. Why did you make it that way? Or why did you depict it that way? The rules of the game or the universe or whatever don't really do that, right? Because this isn't reality. It's not a thing that just is a thing that is hardly artificial. It is fiction. It is made up. Everything about it is completely contrived. Period. So there is a reason for everything that's in it. And explaining shit about the rules of the universe or the game or whatever it is just a big nothing burger. Like that's nothing. And I feel so bad that I used to fall for that. I said the same shit. I can't believe that I was this fucking stupid. Oh my God. Kill me. And at that time, I was way less humble too, dude. Like, I thought I was so fucking smart. Oh my God. Kill that little fucker. Kill him. Oh my God. Kill him dead. Oh my God. Oh my God. Very important to the plot. Bans him on the principle he brought up Sonic 06. That game. Bro, while screaming, it's no use. Oh God. This is good shit. I remember that was like a meme between a buddy of mine before he began to kind of lose himself to schizophrenia. He always used to say that. But then he used to say just playing anything really. Like if he was just bodying me in Brawl or whatever, it was just it's no use. It's awesome. He said it like that instead of trying to do the silver voice. It's funnier this way. At least it was to us anyway.
Moment when I realized that although I had once upon a time actually seen some amount of merit in the video about women as rewards, any small semblance of a good argument that anybody could make about video games or gamers being misogynistic was entirely overshadowed by the fact that the person making these arguments was making them in anything but good faith, as she had already reached her conclusion before embarking upon the project, and went out of her way to invent veritable fictions to prove points that in most cases simply didn't exist. And yet still, in spite of the fact that there were millions and millions of views on videos that tore Anita Sarkeesian to shreds as a fraud who made completely silly arguments in a not-so-subtle attempt to try to evangelize gamers into the feminist religion, Anita remained a darling of the mainstream media and corporate leftist political establishment for years.
I hate this so much. Why does YouTube recommend me someone like this? Like, it's just young gay Alex Jones, right? Like so far he's presented either nothing arguments, no real citations. It's just young gay Alex Jones, and I don't know, like, why? I gotta get on Twitter and I gotta at some of the leftist YouTubers that I consume, because like, you guys gotta fucking clean your tags up, because I'm sick of getting these fuckers in my recommended. So, oh my god. Like, I'm gonna just break this down. There's no such thing as a fucking leftist corporate media. That makes no fucking sense. Leftism is opposed to capitalism and is opposed to fucking corporations. You can't do both. Like, what? Like, that is, like, what the fuck? Like, you can't do both. You can't have you can't have a round square. Like, that doesn't make any sense. That is so stupid. I don't understand. How? How does anyone believe this? That is so stupid. What? Like, why? Like, I can't. And then the next part is like, these corporates and they want to protect her or whatever because like, dude, she's a person with like an education, an academic background, and all this other shit. Of course she's gonna get fucking held up over who the fuck did this screenshot did he use here? Where is it?
Anita remained a
Where is it?
simply didn't exist. And yet still.
Who the fuck is Nate talks to you? Of course. Nate talks to you, not some fucking academic dude or fucking advocate for anything. Like, just some dude making the internet shitting on a fucking YouTube on a fucking YouTube video. Like why do these people I guess maybe when you're like caught up like in the moment, like maybe because I was pretty young, but I think this dude is about as old as I am, and he still takes these people so seriously that he for some reason thinks, oh, the person with the college education and the fucking academic background being held up by the establishment is evidence of something, because that's why he's bringing it up, right? Like, why would anyone take this some little fucking YouTubers seriously? Especially if what they're making or talking about isn't really anything new or subversive. Like, there's nothing new or subversive about anti-feminism, dude. Anti-feminism's been around since feminism started. Like, what the fuck? Legit, what she's doing, it to a great extent was like new, and then you fuckers with these dumbass videos that ended up bringing her a whole lot of fucking hate and harassment. Whether you think that she really got as much as she said she did or not, either way, it was enough. It was noticeable enough so that she could fucking use that shit to her advantage. You idiots essentially fucking hoisted her up on your arms, and you thought you were fucking hoisting her up to throw her over a bridge, but actually there was a fucking lifeboat at the bottom on the river, and they just fucking fucking floated, just drove her on off. Just, yeah, she was good. She's good. Stupid. Just stupid. And I'm like, wow. Like, I can't believe that shit. I can't believe I was one of these people. I can't believe this shit. Where were the parents? Where were the parents? Where was my fucking parents, dude? Where were my fucking parents? God damn it. Oh shit, dude. This is what motherfuckers need to be tweaking on. Me on the internet talking anti-feminism bullshit, not playing violent video games or whatever. This is what motherfuckers should have been tweaking on. This is what motherfuckers should have been kicking my ass over. Oh, dude. Oh. Like, yeah, like, it's so weird. Like, oh, this person wants education and whatever, and is basically a victim of a fucking hate campaign on the internet. Why do they take so much interest in them? They're wrong. Look at my YouTube video where I say feminism sucks. Like, what? I don't know.
And corporate leftist political establishment for years, where she still
There's memes about the shit show that was the skeptic community. Oh yeah, did they all officially break up finally, or are they still saying they're not actually a fucking they're not actually a community? Because I remember that used to be a big thing.
still is
it's 5 a.m.
to
You didn't
this
trust
day,
the YouTube.
being invited to speak
goof.
as the
True.
guest of honor at gaming conventions just a few months.
It doesn't matter if you're opposed to corporations if they pay you the big bucks. I mean, sure, like, right, everyone has to eat under, like, capitalism, and you're more likely the things that own everything are owned by very few people, and those very few people own a series of companies, and you're likely gonna be having to make some money off of them, right? But like, those people do that because because capitalism and neoliberalism, and at the end of the day, this stuff that these fuckheads, and I was among them, what we were about and what we were pushing just is anti-inclusion, and anti-inclusion is anti-expansion. Anti-expansion is stagnation of profits, and that's not good for a corporation. So they want to expand. They want a fucking half black, half Hispanic kid to be Spider-Man, and we want to stick him in a movie and make some of the most of the money of a fucking movie that was put out like in that last year. Like, you want to fucking take a movie and stuff it full of all these big black names and make the first almost all black ensemble superhero movie and make like almost like all of the money. Like, of course you want to do that. You want to expand to those demographics because you want to make money. No one's gonna listen to your dumbass shitheel bullshit about forced diversity and forced inclusion and blah 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 blah. They're here to make money. They don't give a fuck about these values. If for some reason neo-Nazi type of fucking rhetoric took over, they tossed that fucking shit and that'd be it. Like, fuck. Like, come on. This is just stupid. Like, it's so stupid. Like, it's so stupid. Like, it's always, and the worst part about it is that the right wing is always accusing us on the left for falling for corporate bullshit when it comes to diversity. But the way that they talk about it and the way that they get upset about it, it's as if they believe that these fucking companies are genuine. Like, it feels like almost every fucking criticism they levy is like almost all pure projection. Like, it's crazy.
Months ago, Yes, if people didn't figure out that something seriously bizarre was going on by the time she was both being featured on the Colbert Show and was also being flown to speak about misogynistic harassment on the internet in front of the United Nations right before the 2016 election campaign kicked into high gear, as if she was hoping to internationally ban criticisms of the left, feminism. If it wasn't already clear that Anita had a sizable amount of clout in politics, it should have been undeniable that Anita was a corporate teacher's pet after she broke VidCon's rules by insulting and swearing at Sargon of Akkad from her panelist seat, inciting VidCon to apologize to Anita about the incident. But of course,
because he showed up with like a group of his friends and sat in the first couple of front rows or whatever, in a way obviously to get her to see him, which I don't know if that counts as harassment, but it is creepy. It's kind of like that weird ex or friend or associate that you don't really want to talk to anymore, but for some reason they've showed up to some place that they know that you'll be. Like they know you'll be there, so they come and they sit there. And technically they're not doing anything illegal, and this really doesn't constitute stalking or anything, but they're there to fuck with you. They're gonna sit there because they know that it fucks with you. And that was the point, right? They came there and they had themselves on video that they said that they were showing up there essentially just like to fuck with her, to trigger the libs again. And she got triggered as they wanted her to, right? That's what they wanted. They wanted her to be triggered. And she wouldn't. And then the venue apologized. They're like, "Oh shit, we didn't realize that when these guys did this, that bought the tickets or went to this panel that they were these people and that you have this history with them. We did not realize, right? We would have warned you or would have told them that they're not allowed to attend this particular panel, whatever, right?" So they apologized to her, as they should. Like he doesn't have videos on the internet of her swearing at Sargon. Sargon has that about her, or calling her a liar and her this and that, saying all types of like little shit about her. He doesn't have that about him though. The most that she's got now is her on tape at VidCon calling him a garbage human. Like, of course, like that makes no sense. Like, should she have done it? No. What she should have done is not given them the satisfaction, because that's what they wanted from you. That's what they wanted from you. That's what they wanted. You gave them what they wanted. But like, do I feel bad for them? Did they deserve an apology? Particularly fucking Carl Sargon? I don't know. Did he ever apologize to that fucking journalist that he accused of not knowing anything about being poor? That he completely lied about, by the way. Like, dude, fuck out of here, dude.
When people ask her what happened over the course of her career as a game,
I already know that she handled that situation. I mean, I don't think they really cared about an apology, because I mean, they struck a gold mine thanks to her. Exactly. They wanted to extract some more content out of possibly triggering her or possibly heckling her fucking panel. Right? Like some of them had done earlier in the day to Francesca Ramsey. They were there to be dicks. And they confirmed they were there to be dicks on video right before. And they uploaded that fucking video. Like, come on, dude. That's what you wanted. You got your reaction. But they couldn't just play it off like, haha, she whatever. In order to keep it going, they had to be like, oh, what? I say, I did not, I had no idea that she would react in such a visceral and disrespectful manner. Like, God. Like, come on, dude.
critic, I started criticizing the depictions of women in my favorite hobby, gaming, but was viciously attacked by men of the internet who were threatened by the fact that a woman was more popular than most of the male critics were. So I've been the relentless victim of harassment online from trolls, all for the crime of being a woman with an opinion. Though, of course, the internet remained unconvinced.
Look, you can't just start a slow clap at any old time. You gotta wait for the right moment.
But how am I going to know when it's the right moment?
Oh. You'll know.
You see, towards the end of the second half of the Obama years, people were sick to death of subpar social justice grievance mongering from overconfident leftists who legitimately seemed to think they'd never have to critically defend their beliefs, as if everybody would soon be legally obligated to get on board. And so, when it turned out that Anita had made over $1 million from a project that should have been low budget, which she didn't even finish, it didn't surprise me in the least when the social fabric of the internet veered dramatically right-wing just in time for Trump.
You did finish it. It just took longer than she expected. And you can literally go to her site and look at charts and various fucking data that shows you, the backer, where all that fucking money went. And she wouldn't have made all that fucking money if you dumbasses would have just left her alone. It's like they don't understand the role they played in giving her this profile. You did it. You did it. Like, it's so stupid. Like, if they would literally just left her alone, she would have maybe made her whatever, a couple thousand, maybe 100,000, whatever, and the people would have gotten their ideological jerk off, and everyone was jerked off like, oh yeah, the fucking tropes, and that's it. But since she was saying something bad about Vidya, people who play Vidya got real upset because, I don't know, playing Vidya is a really big part of their fucking identity. And they essentially, I mean, in their eyes, created a monster. I don't view her as a monster. Not anymore. And right here, right now, I formally apologize to Ms. Sarkeesian. And, what the fuck is his name? Jonathan McIntosh? Like, yeah. Like, sorry. You guys are mostly correct. That's just about almost all of your media criticism. Mostly. And, yeah. I feel really bad and dumb. And I hope that they could forgive me. I was pretty young. And, really dumb. And hadn't realized that I was black yet. And I mean, like realize that there was a social consequence of being black, not just like, oh, my skin color or whatever is different. I mean, like, really like aware. Like, yeah, like becoming aware of that really opened me up to like all the other social shit, like all the other social shit, like all of it. Right? Like almost everything. It feels really bad that I do this. Maybe it's a little narcissistic, but that's like a big thing that opened me up for like everything else. Like stuff about women. I view sexism as it walks hand in hand with racism. And I like kind of like relate it in that same sort of framework, and it just clicks. And I'm like, oh yeah, dude, fucking feminism is the shit. Fuck. Down with patriarchy, dude. Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm sorry.
Now, I'm not saying Anita Sarkeesian personally led to Trump's dramatic upset victory in 2016.
This is just sad. This is an hour long. Why is this an hour long? He's just recapping everything that most of the internet, or at least a significant part of the internet, whatever, already believes about Anita. We haven't even begun to really talk about Contrapoints. We haven't spoken about her since the fucking silly little intro. You're confused. Isn't it? Like, what's the point of this? Why are we recapping this? Well, maybe because he's saying that Contrapoint is the new Anita. So yeah, but one of the biggest parts and components of Anita is the mass harassment and the fact that most of the internet views her as like whatever, as like bad. But Contrapoints isn't that. That's like one of the main components of the Sarkeesian. I don't know. It's kind of like almost like her brand now, right? Like it's even in the intros of her new videos and stuff on the frequency show. It's like a little thing, a little I don't know, it was 8-bit or whatever, a 16-bit version of her or whatever. And then some dude's like, and it's like some guy is like, game, actually, and then she like jumps over him, jumps on his head, and like as a part of her brand now. I don't know how you can have that and then say someone is the new version of that if they're not essentially universally maligned. Like, it's pretty weird, but maybe he's making some other point. It's an hour long. We're only like we're barely even 11 minutes in. I probably talked just way too much.
But it certainly didn't hurt. So of course...
Well, I would argue it sad for other reasons. Mainly the quality is just not that great, and he seems to be very off topic based on what he was talking about at first. True. It's kind of weird. Maybe it's me, but like one of the big things that's always stopped me with like putting out prepared content always, or at least slowed it down, is always I have this weird thing where you know how you can hear him take his breath before he goes to read like part of his script. For me, I'd like to cut that out. And that's also another reason why I use a noise gate, even when there's nothing really going on around me. Even when I know that I do, like, I have the pop filter and that I can just kind of put myself a little bit further away from it and still be able to get, you know, decent quality or whatever of sounding, even on this stream. The whole, like, people hearing you go, or it's weird. I always hate hearing that in playbacks. I always find some way, how I just fucking zoom in in Audacity or whatever till I can get that one little cut that shit out because it's so weird. Like, it's disturbing me. And now I notice that I do it. Now I notice everyone does it. It doesn't like trigger me like to the moon or nothing, but it's like it is a thing. And even when you apply your noise reduction, if you leave those breaths in, it can, I don't know, sometimes they come out and they're still there and it comes out very distorted, especially if you're still using something like one of these, a little USB mic. It's not good. It's not good. I'm saying Audacity. Yeah. Just so weird.
Her handlers must have been really furious about the fact that bedroom YouTubers overtook corporate media promoted feminist propaganda content in overall influence. So, while they had already begun trying to figure out ways to thwart political and socio-political content that they didn't like existing on the internet all through
her handlers? Oh no, my dude. At first I was just kind of ripping on him, but that's Alex Jones stuff right there. That's Alec Jones slash like Illuminati stuff that people like, stuff that I heard on the internet, because I've been on the internet for like ever, right? Like shit, dude. At least since like like still using AOL disk and shit. Okay, that's how long I've been using the time off AOL disk. And that's been like a thing with the conspiracy theories. They're handlers, especially when they're talking about like celebrities or like big public figures, like you know, like or like, you know, the politicians that we see, but not the people who really run things. You know, the people who really run things, or they call them fucking their handlers. Like that's a red flag. This doesn't mean that everything he's gonna say is gonna not have merit, but it's a red flag. And honestly, if you come across that, listen out for stuff like that.
For 2016, by 2017, it seemed like they had figured out a new, more defensive strategy to fight against the YouTubers that people actually liked. Aside from the shadow banning of Twitter accounts such as my own, the automatic unsubscribing stuff that happens to people who are subscribed to problematic channels, the numerous completely bizarre supposed hate speech strikes that people get for such crimes as, in my case, listing out numerous domestic violence and sex crimes that male feminists have committed, and the
you didn't just list them out. I think I remember this dude. I remember that video. The point of that video or whatever is you're essentially saying that an entire like type of person, that being male feminists, are sex criminals, and then using these evidences of like crimes that people who are identified as such as whatever as evidence that most of these people are like creepy weirdos looking to get next to women so that they can assault them or whatever. Which, I mean, it's just kind of a scummy thing to say. I don't think that it deserved to be flagged for fucking hate speech. I don't even think that it technically would be, unless you would say that the protected class that he's attacking is male. Because you are targeting males. You know, there are women who are feminists who are gay, who have sexually assaulted other women, or some of you have even taken advantage of men, but you focused on male feminists. So someone could probably construe that as like he's picking on men, he's targeting them because of gender and saying disparaging things about a whole group of people, so you got mass flagged for hate speech. Which, you know, I don't think that should happen, but I do think that the way that he framed it, from how I recall, and I'm thinking about how he spoke on Twitter, because I don't see a shit name, that you did that. Like, you made a big thing and you made a generalization and then used various crimes committed by certain individuals to back it up, right? It's like if you made some video or whatever and said like, just say black people from whatever do this, and then you list a bunch of black people from, I don't know, fucking Chicago who've committed some sort of violent offense. Like, that's gonna get you fucking shit canned, because, you know, your preference about attempting to use these examples as proof that this particular group is dangerous. That in various parts of Europe, not in America, we don't have hate speech laws, but especially in various parts of Europe, it would be considered hate speech. And I think it's technically considered hate speech in terms of YouTube's TOS. Well, which is why videos like that get hit. And it's really weird. Like on one hand, I don't like it, because I feel like it'd be better off just arguing with him right? Because that's like a pretty easily defeated point, which is like, that's just a generalization based on like a very small percentage of fucking people. And like, and it really has nothing to do with their beliefs. Like, it doesn't prove that they're wrong. That would be fine. It doesn't necessarily need to be flagged. But also, read the fucking TOS. It's like these reactionary weirdos never read the TOS. You literally just read it. If you read it, and even then, even now, like YouTube is like now even more clearer because they do stuff like they have like the YouTube like the Creator Academy or whatever, and they tell you about like TOS, and they went over it in the video, and they give you examples of things that you cannot do. And what I just said is one of them. If you make some sort of weird general claim about a whole group of people and then attempt to spend the rest of the video attempted to justify that claim, whether it be fucking all Muslims are terrorists or male feminists do this or blacks do that, you're gonna get fucking whacked for hate speech. Just don't do it. Or take it somewhere else. Why the fuck do you think you can come onto somebody's, like, technically, you know, a website, it's private, it's privately owned, someone's private fucking property, and just do whatever the fuck you want. Just disregard their rules and just do whatever the fuck you want. Like, these people are so weird. It's not actually yours. I know it's your YouTube channel, but it's not actually yours. It's fucking YouTube's. It's Google's. You have to abide by their rules. Don't do stupid shit. Like it's so dumb. Cause like as a matter of like principle, I don't think his shit should have been taken down. But also listen. Read the TOS. Read it. You can't do that. You can't make content that can be fucking interpreted or whatever as that has the purpose of attempting to incite hate or harassment. And something like that could definitely be interpreted as that. It is so weird to think that you would be able to make that and leave it up. Why would you expect it to stay up? Why? I don't understand these people. Why do they do the things that they do? Like, it feels like they do these weird shit where they go on Twitter, or they go on Facebook, they go on YouTube, and they violate TOS for the express purpose of being able to take their, like, banning or suspension or whatever and trot it out to the fucking, you know, to the internet as, like, they were a victim. Like, I don't know. You don't need a large percentage. Go ahead. Your head. What is this? Yeah, that's, you know, that same weird. And the worst part is that sort of mentality, even when they do get big, they still hold that same sort of weird ass mentality where, like, I'm an underground rebel and they're afraid of me, blah, 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 blah. Like, you can be fucking Alex Jones, have millions of listeners or whatever the fuck, and still talk like you're this scrappy young fellow on public access or whatever. It's so weird. Argument. You're a boy, you idiot, you're a boy with yourself, Strawman boy, you dummy. Your boy hair checked. Jesus Christ. Need a large percent of people. What are we talking about now? You have to be a rapper on a daily basis. Dogs say a fur from $10. I man around with they ears and a nose. That's an essential feature, but you wouldn't be able to say that since you met two dogs and one of them or even both of them bit you, that means that the next 10 that you see are likely to bite you. That's not how that works. That's not, no, you don't have a big enough sample size to say that dogs on average just bite people. Like, man, I don't know what the fuck is up with dogs. Like this one, I remember 2 times, dude, I got bit by dogs. Like you calling me an idiot? You're fucking retarded. That is horrible data collection. Let me guess, you're one of these fucking morons who takes your fucking political views off of fucking dumbass SJW cringe compilations and shit like that, right? So like, because you saw like an hour compilation of some dumb bullshit, like that's accurate. That's a reflection of the real world. That's how we do data collection now. We watch YouTube videos, or we rely on our couple of anecdotal experiences. Like that's how we do that. Like that's how we formulate our thoughts. That's real fucking smart, dude. You've won 300 IQ, dude. Fucking, I don't know what the fuck to call that tier. That's a multiversal brain right there. Like, dude, oh shit, dude, he's shaking it. He's shaking it up on every fucking timeline throughout the multiverse. God damn it. Can't fucking. That's fine. What you gotta do? What is this? What are we talking about now? What could I have been Jamal for defamation alone? Who have I defamed and in what way? Okay. Yeah, man. What's up, my dude? Are you so what is this? Is this like, is he trying to bait me? Is you trying to get up on mics and you want to like debate me or something, or are you just dumb and just kind of spazzing out for a bit, or what? Or is it just triggers you so much that someone just doesn't agree with you? Like, is that it? Are you still mad that Anita said something bad about Vidya, or what? I'm sorry. No, here, just for you, Corpus, okay? Vidya is not sexist at all, okay? No Vidya has ever done or said or depicted any sort of sexist anything. You are right, and so is everyone you listen to, and everyone you talk to, and all your little dumbass friends. And Lolicon is fine, and definitely not fucking child porn. Okay? Alright, buddy. Alright, you have fun.
The algorithm doing everything it can to ensure that people never find our videos in searches and that our videos aren't recommended to anybody, including our subscribers. Aside from simply sandboxing channels like my own to ensure that it's almost impossible for us to grow and retain consistent viewership or make any money, as they demonetize practically everything we upload.
Same thing can be said about political content. With my fucking channel, during the time where I still had monetization, but I don't now because I wasn't over the subscriber threshold. I consistently, anything that was political, I didn't get a whatever. And I uploaded so much political stuff. Anything that was just like a video game first look or a little like gameplay video, or even just something I just upload like a trailer or whatever with some commentary, or like a react video over the trailer of a video game or something, it would get held for review in terms of monetization. Like it would go yellow, and then I would have to click it, have it reviewed, and then they would approve it. They literally like essentially flagged my channel for uploading controversial shit, to the point where shit that wouldn't necessarily be controversial became controversial just by virtue of it being my channel. And over time, like, unless like videos were made and they were about particularly larger YouTubes or whatever, either in the titles or tags, it was really hard to end up in someone's recommended. You're not the only one. It's just you might have been sandboxed because you fucked around and got a video whacked for hate speech, which sucks, and honestly probably happened because of like a mass flagging campaign from somebody, from maybe someone on the left, maybe just some troll or whatever. Probably more likely people who are self-interested though, so probably someone on the left. And they do seem to want to quarantine stuff that tends to put out, rhetoric that sometimes ends up getting flagged. And that stuff can get you in trouble. It can definitely slow down growth. But you also can't discount the fact that, like, if I remember there was a time where this dude would make content very, very consistently, and then there was a time where his shit got broken up, right? He would break it up more and more, and that's kind of like what has happened here. Like, I'm much smaller than him, and I started to see that growth as I kept making videos more consistently, like maybe a couple or whatever a week, and then when that shit started to slow down, on top of not necessarily having the most advertiser-friendly content, it just shit stagnated. It's like I'm essentially almost starting basically from square one, and it's really hard also because also you have like 13K subs, and then there's like 3. There's over like. You have close to like less than like half or whatever of the people who subscribe to you watching your stuff. And YouTube takes note of that. When you have a channel and you've got a certain amount of users subscribe to you and you're not getting those people to come back and watch, they stop recommending your shit to people because it's like it's not getting the views, it's not getting the watch time because your subscribers aren't watching. Now, is YouTube responsible for that? I don't know. The whole sometimes auto unsubscribing you from people used to was a thing at the height of it. Was happening to just normal ass stuff. Some people would report that they would get unsubscribed from Vivo channels. But like, I don't know if that's like specifically a conspiracy against you. And it's a thing that definitely has happened to left-wing channels. So I don't know. It seems kind of weird for these big corporate leftist establishment media conglomerates to be all those things I just described while also attacking us, the little foot soldiers. Seems a little weird. I mean, just the other day, there's this one channel, actually, I'm thinking about it. These people, it was like just last week, they got fucking they got their this whole channel nuked. Just nuked. Out of nowhere, just Thanos, gone. And they're leftists. These are leftists, not like liberals who like weed and leave the gays alone, man. But like leftists, like a real deal Holyfield leftists, fucking fucking workers of the world unite, motherfuckers, right here, okay? And they got their shit gone, out of there. That's how they I hate this shit with the fucking conservatives on this platform. Like, they really think that this shit is about them. They really think it's about them. They really think that like they're special in this whole like getting dicked around by YouTube and shit. Like, really not, dude. Really not. Let me see your yellow dollar signs and not the hundreds of others with them. Yeah, I mean, that was the same thing, right? Like, I saw the exact same thing. Like, as I started to stray farther and farther into like political commentary memes and shit like that. Over time, as stuff got age gated and stuff got demonetized, you know, it was essentially, obviously, I was in a box where like anything I uploaded to my channel started with a yellow, and then I had to manually submit for review. Like over, like that's, you know, that's a part of the game. If you're gonna do this, I'm back. Oh, welcome back, Kimmy. I'm sorry. Yeah. Rip Monkey. Exactly. And Mumkey is, what is Mumkey? I don't even know. He seems like a weird, like, just like kind of just like a shit flinger, just for like the sake of it sometimes. But then he also has some things I've heard him say that are pretty progressive. So like I don't know what to make of Mumkey, but yeah, he got Thanos, and so did all types of other channels. For various reasons, whether it be fucking copyright shit or mass flag of calling their content hate speech, etc., etc. Yeah, like so, like it's so weird and silly. Like I don't know. I really hate this. It's so stupid.
It seems as if there's a new fleet of corporate favored YouTube content that people tend to call LeftTube. And of course, the flagship channel with the most obviously sizable budget in YouTube terms is Contrapoints, who goes
favored? H-Bomb built up his fan base by making his fucking video game reviews and stuff. And then a little more recently, like a couple of years or so, a little bit before Trump got elected in 2015, started in on his political commentary meme. That's weird. Philosophy Tube got in on just making videos that were just essentially just giving away philosophy education, which is pretty good, useful, right? Like education channels or whatever, they fucking dominate, and that's what he was for a really long time before really shifting over to being someone who's more so about being persuasive and trying to get you to, you know, see things a different way, go more left wing like him. And Sean and Jen basically, yeah, they took off from essentially making response videos to shitheads like you. He got those views because you guys were popular. I got recommended him because he used you guys' name in the title. If you weren't ever being recommended or weren't being recognized, he wouldn't be able to have done that, right? Like when he put Tildeer or Thunderfoot, or when he had that TJ video up, yeah, like it wouldn't, like it wouldn't have worked, right? Like that's weird. Also, I kind of want to comment like a couple minutes back about the whole YouTubers that people actually like. So this fucker's accusing these people of being like what, like corporate sponsored plants, and like what those of us who watch them we're not actually real, or we're not people, I guess. And that's why we like them, because, you know, the only YouTubers that people actually like are Prince of Queens and I don't know, whoever the fuck else that he's decided is like the real YouTube, the real new media. All right.
By the name of Natalie Wynn in real life. Being that I was extremely
Monkey was a shit poster, but he got, oh yeah, his Elliot Rogers series thing where he basically just shut him down, just shat on him. Rude. Views and recognition, exactly, right? And when stuff like that, like if they weren't circulating and they weren't buzzing, he wouldn't have gotten the views. So it's either you're circulating, you're buzzing, and you buzz so well that one of my most well-performing videos, outside of like the old Minecraft videos I used to make, is one, a viewer response to Sargon of Akkad, and then some of the other ones are to no bullshit. It's either you're not buzzing, so your shit and your name or whatever is not circulating, or it is, and it circulates so well that just simply mentioning you in the title can get a channel that only had like, I think he had like less, like maybe 2,000 subs on Gen when he first started like making response videos to these people. You get them like 10,000, 5,000, 50,000 fucking views. Like that makes no fucking sense. And then also there was like a feedback loop, right? Like by watching him, I also still got recommended other right-wing YouTubers as well at the time. So like, I don't know. What I'm thinking is these channels or whatever, at least or whatever, most things that they're gonna say, given that their thing is like a negation, it's kind of like the same thing with like the atheism thing on YouTube, where all the content is about a negation of something, what we don't believe or what's not true. When your content or identity or whatever it is based around that, like you're gonna move on. Even if you don't move on, people will move on from you. Right? Like a lot of these things that they're saying or whatever they're not new. Like I said earlier in this stream, anti-feminism is not new. There's been anti-feminists ever since there've been feminists. There've been anti-black activist people since there was black activism. Or whatever. Like that's like duh. Like eventually there's only, even if somebody agrees with you, there's only so many times they can hear you say, you know, fucking about the SJWs or trigger the libs or whatever it is, so many times before, you know, they get burnt out. Especially if your channel is purporting to be kind of serious, like, you know, Prince is here. Right? That's why like a lot of those people, they kind of, the ones that really still kind of sustained and kept a very consistent base were ones that were there mostly, you know, attempting to be funny, or had already installed bases like say TJ. And even TJ, I think either has or is set to slip back under 1 million subscribers, likely because some of his audience, is just what he was saying or whatever just stagnated and they just got bored of it. I don't understand like that. Like this has all happened before. And a lot of these people were around for when it happened the first time, and they're acting surprised. I am confused. Why you do this?
Active on YouTube all during 2017 and 2018, both watching videos, making them, and watching and participating in live streams. I ended up...
But also, yeah. I mean, some people were actually really educated folks, and I feel like I really learned something. Stream. Oh, thanks, man.
Hearing of Contrapoints when they debated both Sargon and Blair White, though admittedly I couldn't even watch any more than 20 minutes of either because they just sounded like any other clueless everyday feminism Tumblrite to me. More so, from what little I saw of their videos, the only real difference between Contra's content and something like MTV's Decoded was more of an expansive vocabulary, more run-on sentences, and worse acting. Thus, I accidentally began somewhat of a strange personal journey of sorts in trying to learn about this evolution of SJWism and then criticizing it. Now, I won't bore you with all the details of what happened, but I'll include everything that was important. 1. I politely propositioned Contra to do a live stream with me, even though I barely knew anything about them, simply because I thought that they were actually willing to talk to centrists, and I imagined maybe...
You've never been a fucking centrist. You've always been a fucking... And your whole time on YouTube, you've always been an anti-feminist, and you've always been fairly right-leaning. Why the fuck do these fairly right-leaning people always keep calling themselves centrist? You're not centrist. The right is not the center. You're not in between the left and the right because you're, I guess, center-right. You're still right-wing. You're just not as far right as some others. What is wrong with these people? Getting triggered again, but like, no. Like, that's so weird. Not saying that that's a reason to not talk to them. I just hate when they do this. Not a fucking centrist. We're not a centrist. Like fucking centrists don't oppose every single bit of progressive ideology. That's not centrism. Centrists don't embrace almost every single bit of conservative ideology. That's not centrism. That's not how that fucking works. Like, what the fuck?
They were on YouTube in good faith to argue for what is good about the left. Yet I was ignored, which didn't surprise me nor hurt my
Maybe. I don't even know who is even popular who actually is a centrist. Like they unironically have views from one side and views from the other. And that's their position. Like, is there anyone who's actually like that? I've never actually seen anyone who's actually like that. As far as I know, like when I think of like popular, like for the most part, it's like a weird thing. Like, it's just like, I'm anti-feminism, but I acknowledge that women do go through things that just men don't, and we probably will never understand, or something like that. And I'm like, that's a really low bar for centrism. Love the Frank Roll, but he is more of a news channel. Is he? I don't even know, because I feel like whenever Phil touches a social issue, he always comes out on a right-leaning side. Like, he doesn't try to push it as hard, but he always comes out on a right-leaning side whenever it comes to something like social justice or whatever. Like, I think like the Tamir Rice case, he literally tried to play a, well, you know, things happen and maybe he shouldn't have, or whatever. When, like, in that case, like, just about like everyone who saw the fucking tape, like, knew that those fuckers were dead wrong. They jumped out of a car in 2 seconds and shot a kid. Standing in a park alone. Like, and Phil found some way to try and, like, mealy mouth about it and almost try to give, like, the cops, like, a, you know, like, kind of thing. And I'm like, like, that was around the time I had to. And then, like, almost every time, and then there was like, then before that one, there was the Walter Scott case. And he had like this weird thing about like, this is terrible, this is a real thing, and this is what Black Lives Matter was started for, and blah, blah, blah. But, you know, but don't take stuff like this and like think that cops are bad. And I'm like, a dude just fucking died. A dude was shot in the back 4 fucking times by a fucking agent of the state. And you're concerned about the reputation of that fucking institution? Are you serious? That's what we doing? Dead ass? When they blicking people? Flat out blicking motherfuckers? Cause they just don't feel like chasing them? And you're worried about whether or not people are gonna think less of the police. At that time, at that moment, like when it happened. That's like if some woman was fucking raped and she's like all like fucked up and frazzled and da-da-da, and you'd come over and you sit down like, man, this is really so fucked up, and I'm really sorry for you. I'm so sorry this happened. I wish I could do more to help. Blah blah blah. But you know, don't take this bad experience and think less of men as a whole You're a piece of shit. You'd be a big piece of shit. And I hate you. I hope that woman punches you in the eye. Like, what the fuck? Someone's a victim of some fucking, of a horrific affront to their personhood. And you're worried about the reputation of men? Or in this, is the instance that we're actually talking about, cops? Really? Yeah, I know you're whatever, just died and everything, but try to take it easy on the cops. They got a hard job. What the fuck? That's what centrism is? I cannot understand my brain, she is broken. I can't believe that shit. Is the T virus. Y'all dumb. How he presents it at that, right? I guess. I don't know. I feel like for me in those cases with like the cops thing, like even if when they're wrong, he still finds some way to like fucking dick ride and try to like protect the reputation of the police as an institution. I'm done with that dude. The quartering. Isn't that the dude who got pissed off because the new She-Ra didn't have tits? Am I correct? How far has the center shifted right? Like, since when is like a dude who's like talking about how like that these SJWs and these leftist feminists blah blah want to subvert and they want to move almost every single depiction of females away from a traditional femininity and blah blah blah. Like, how does a dude who makes a video like that's a centrist now? Like, I can't believe that shit. Like, what the fuck? How could that be a center? The center of where? Like, what? Like, that video sounds and it reads like something that like someone like me would make a Strawman of like an MRA or something. Like, what the fuck? Like, what the my head. My brain, she is broken she is. Oh shit, dude. I literally have a headache trying to figure this out. Like, what the fuck? YouTube only cares about poster children, which is a small number of care about the ones. Yeah, my comment doesn't care about their poster children for a reason. Yeah, that's pretty true. That's probably. But I mean, let's be honest. It's hard to find anything more. Get far right or far left. So moderate right. Moderate right is as close as you get. I mean, I guess, but like, I don't know. I feel like maybe like on the internet, moderate right seems to be a pretty hard right. But like in real life, most like moderate right wing people I've ever come across, like, they're not like, it feels like is oddly like entrenched on certain positions, like cops and how they treat black people, or like the disparity in the ways that we treat like men versus women in like in socially or whatever. So like they can recognize that. Maybe they might disagree about the cause, but they don't do weird shit like try to say like it's just absolutely not happening. Or if it is happening, it's just like nature. Like that seems to be like a more of a hard right position. But on the internet, that's a moderate right position. I don't know. Maybe I'm old now. Maybe that's just what it is, and I'm a boomer. They're all just zooming past me.
Feelings. Second, I decided as a result of that to watch a lot more of Contra's content, and then made a 16-minute video criticizing Contra's beyond vague politics, deceptive video presentation style, and a bit of speculation about why Contra might be this way, which was immediately demonetized and confirmed with manual review back when the system that allowed you to contest your demonetizations had first been introduced, and it was unheard of to hear back so quickly.
You did that. Also, while also making all these weird ass right-wing videos or whatever the fuck. While also putting the face of all these fucking trans women in it. While using one of their names in it. Like, you do realize that that's against TOS. Read the TOS. YouTube has changed since we were little babbies coming up on it. We can't do stuff like this. That's why the only thing that's in the title of my YouTube stream right now is the name of his video, not his actual channel name, because that's against the rules. That can be seen as targeted harassment. And that's another reason why those reply girls or whatever type, avatar channels on YouTube, that's why they typically don't put the name of the channels in their titles, because they know it'll either get demonetized or it could get flagged for target harassment. Of course you're not gonna get fucking monetized while making a video at or towards a specific YouTuber. Like, sometimes they get through, and especially they get through if you're a bigger YouTuber, because that's way too much ad money to pass up. They probably like let it slide. But like down here in the pits, you think you're gonna get away with that? Bitch, in whose world? On whose YouTube? Cause I wanna go there. Woo, shit. I'm sorry, I clipped the shit out of that audio, didn't I? I'm sorry. Like what? What else in this we all got? Based on opinions. Probably. I don't know. I guess. I feel like most mainstream Democrat candidates are centrist. Like fucking Hillary Clinton was a centrist. Obama was a centrist. Right? Like he'd say all like this nice socially left-wing shit, but still was okay with most of the, the very right-winged aspect of the politics, right? Like he didn't reinstitute laws to protect, the establishment of unions. He didn't do away with right-to-work laws and all the other stuff. And he had a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and, just a whole lot of really, honestly, like a whole lot of nothing got done, except for various nice little things like his putting more money into the research of autism, other mental, I don't know, are they disorders? What is autism qualified as? What's that? It just the people are just different. I don't know what to call that. I don't. It's whatever. If you have autism, tell me what it's about. Oh my god! And don't pretend to, or say in like an internet way, like, oh yeah, dude, I'm real Ashby or whatever. But you're not. You're just like socially inept and a dickhead. Don't come here and tell me some stupid shit that's gonna get me in trouble. God damn it! But yeah, like a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and just nothing got done. Just autism? Yeah, I mean, but what is it classified under, right? Like, is that considered in I don't, is it considered a disability or whatever, or is it a disability based on its severity, or what does that do? Yeah, yep, in the small YouTuber world, things get ugly. Exactly. I am high maintenance. Shut up. Functioning. I don't know. So what's up? Is it a thing? I don't know. Whatever, but hear that. That's what I kind of think of. Like a little bit of this, a little bit of that. usually in favor of very slow change and and very okay with compromising, which is like a big thing. Was like a big thing of Obama. Some people call that fucking deporter in chief. Then some people left. And anyone a little bit further left than him would call him the fucking compromiser in chief. I don't know. That's like kind of what I think. Now, like some person who's like largely left or right, but doesn't necessarily agree with like every single like other whatever, and just like, oh, I'm a centrist. Like, you know, workers of the world unite. But you know, I don't really agree with abortion, man. So you know, I'm a centrist. What? What? I'm sorry. I'm gonna break my brain. Fuck it.
I thought to
Yeah,
myself
I'm
at that
around.
time,
Shit.
does YouTube give this channel preferential treatment or something? Well, the video was generally very well received by my audience who agreed with my talking points. I also suddenly became swarmed with dozens and dozens of Contrapoints fans who came to...
Yeah, that's what happens. I made a video on Omegon and I made one on Sargon that got swarmed by their fans. That's just what happens. If you mess with a big kid, big kids tend to have friends, and you know they come kick your ass. You gotta be ready for that. Hold on a second. Good. I don't even know. Here, listen to this royalty-free music. It's good. Yeah, it's good. Ugh, ugly. Song stopped, didn't it? Yep. Nope. There it is. There's the meme. Oh shit. The mental disability, right? So it is a mental disability? Alright. I don't know. Because I have seen some people around where like they don't like it when you call it that. So yeah. Anyway. I mean, maybe. I don't know. It's weird because sometimes I don't know, maybe the definition of shift is so strangely. Because there are some people who call fuckers who were like rail against all progressive shit all the time or whatever the fuck. They still call them left wing because they're not all the way on board with like, I don't know, like being anti-abortion or some other weird shit. It's the internet's fucking weird.
To downvote my video and accuse me of misgendering Natalie. And even some comments like these from people who liked the video said the same thing, when in actuality, I did no such thing.
I have no clue what this. Good.
As I didn't even use any gendered language and just called them by the name Contra for the whole video, which is what almost every trans person will tell you to do if you are unsure of somebody's pronoun, which most people were at the time, including myself. Third, as a result of all those people hounding me and accusing me of transphobic harassment or something, for
Wait, what? I don't know. I'm not gonna go rummage through his videos. I'll just take his word for it. I wouldn't be surprised if he accidentally slipped up and said he or him, especially since he was not a fan and didn't really watch your videos like that. All right, man. Thanks for hanging out, dude.
For not misgendering Contra, then eventually Theron Meyer accusing me of incorrect pronoun usage herself, then a fair amount later, Contra just flat out lying to the public and accusing me of wanting to stream about their gender transition?
Keep it in the family.
Well, that was just weird. So I ended up making this video because apparently, unbeknownst to me when I first made that video, people were absolutely obsessed with Contra's gender transition for pretty good reason. I mean, let's face it, it's pretty strange to call yourself a cross-dressing, non-misgenderable transvestite for several months, then suddenly transition without making a very clear video to explain to viewers why the sudden change. Many people...
Oh, the fuck it's not. She doesn't owe that shit to anybody. What the fuck are you talking about?
People would clearly see it as a Riley Dennis style transition.
What do you mean? I think Riley Dennis has been, as far as she's been on YouTube in a spotlight, she's always been transitioning and openly like trans. What the fuck?
Fourth, after continued relentless badgering from obsessive fans who never even vaguely attempted to bring up my lengthy actual criticisms of Contra's channel, and even a specific sock puppet account from a 15-year-old girl who actually included my name in her Twitter bio and tweeted about me almost exclusively for about 2 weeks upon joining the platform, not to mention posting literally hundreds and hundreds of comments under my videos as if she was very likely being paid to do it or something.
Oh my god, he actually unironically does believe that shit. I remember one of my first interactions with him was on Twitter actually. And I went and looked like his YouTube channel and all that stuff after. I wasn't even like completely like off his side, I guess, but I was saying some stuff that was, I don't know, just a little too, I don't know, fucking progressive or postmodern for him or whatever. And yeah, he accused me of being a paid troll shill or whatever. He didn't tell me who I was being paid by, but he did tell me that how much, he asked me how much am I being paid for this. You have to be being paid, blah, 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 or some shit. And then eventually I think blocked me or something on one of my original Twitter accounts. Really, really weird. Weird stuff there. Very weird stuff.
I remembered something peculiar that Anita Sarkeesian said once at the XOXO feminist conference or whatever.
Version 2 is similar but takes it a step further. Anita fakes the threats and harassment she receives on a regular basis, either by sending these threats to herself via sock puppet accounts or by enlisting an army of feminists to do it for her. Where is that army? Seriously.
You see, here's the thing. Anybody who was around in this sphere of YouTube during Gamergate, or even a year or two later, remembers that everybody said that there was endless sock puppet accounts that would come after anybody who criticized Anita online, and they obviously didn't just make that up. Similarly, many people suspected that the majority of the followers of Feminist Frequency on Twitter were actually sock puppets. Additionally, one real-life feminist ended up literally having a man arrested in Canada and put on trial for 3 years over an online argument having to do with Anita. Now, I wasn't personally around for the thick of the Anita Sarkeesian drama and had to learn about it later. However, being that I've dealt with my own fair share of online feminist bullies by the time I started red-pilling myself in 2015, I never doubted that there were hordes of minions who patrolled the internet in her name, and many people eventually provided a lot of tangible evidence that pointed to that. Thus, I had to wonder...
Man just unironically put up a Breitbart article and said many people provided evidence. Breitbart articles almost never cite actual sources. Right, let's go find that article. Right. Is are fake. There it is. Here's that exact article. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. See. Why do you watch religion crap like this? I don't know. I feel like I just want to kind of get it out of my system. It's like I mostly leave this stuff alone and just watch, Contra, Philosophy Tube, Lindsay Ellis, other like smaller lefty content creators. Peter Coffin, my boy fucking Bronx blogger, that other channel I showed you who had got nuked and had to fight to get their shit back, the Serfs, like mostly like stuff of some kind of quality, if not in like whatever, at least in like the person's character and whatever else, right? That's what I do for the most part. But now, I don't know, they recommended me this shit. They keep recommending me this fucker. And I don't know why. Like, God damn it. I just want to I don't know why. I just want to get out of my system. And, like, making a video about it is good. So now I don't sit around, like, ranting and raving to myself about why this person is so fucking stupid to me. Frontline lords of gaming have struck again, exposing a dramatic drop in the quality of cultural critic Anita Sarkeesian's Twitter following. Quality of is friend with his followers now matches her arguments. Say internet wags. Gamer has been a constant target of Instagram's tweets, videos. Supporter Margaret illustrates. Yeah, I don't care. Battle against gamer appears to have taken a toll on their Twitter following. Whose timeline is spelling Twitter for us. Well, only with a real. This is down. It's over a year ago. What the fuck does that mean? So she got into a fight with Gamergate and people unfollowed her. That doesn't even mean that most of these people or whatever are bots or whatever. Did this fucker even read this article? Like, even this article technically can't argue that, oh, these are all bots. Like, maybe it kind of implies it, but no. Occam's razor. Like, instead of assuming that for some reason there's these other, she has all these fucking friends and they have all these fucking whatever and they made all these socks accounts, you could just be like, well, she was fairly popular at the time when she first, before she went to video games, and she had her other thing, the tropes versus women in television and in movies or whatever. And also, you know, and her like some of her like light academic stuff. Even before that, it would just be like, you know, well, then she's got some rapport in that crowd, and that crowd is a little, you know, is a little bigger than you would first imagine. And also, there are people who hate her, who follow her to fucking, you know, to hate on her. You know, so now there's a large following. She got into a big old spat, and a fucking mob came after her, and a certain amount of people stopped following because almost all of her fucking tweets were about these people, and that probably just got really annoying over time. I've unfollowed people for stuff like constantly tweeting about the same person or group of people before. Definitely. Like, just like that's like just a normal everyday social media occurrence. But big shadowy bot networks and armies of feminazi, fucking minions or whatever the fuck, are not really a thing that we necessarily see every day. So there's no reason to assume that that's what's happening. Not to mention it makes so many more jumps. You just go for, she got into some sort of spat or whatever the fuck, and a bunch of people unfollowed her because they were sick of fucking hearing about it. Or for whatever personal reason. People gain and lose followers all the time.
Whether or not something similar was happening with Contrapoints, even though, at the time, Contrapoints only had about 40,000 subscribers or so, and most people didn't even know of this person. Maybe there was an organized force of Contrapoints trolls out there, perhaps even being paid in some case, which is kind of what it seemed like with the 15-year-old girl who stalked me. It's a really long story, and I won't get into it. Thus, as a result of being reminded of this channel's existence,
hey, any form of criticism of your precious movies and games that you join red pillars and red eyes to feel better about yourself. Well, you know, it happens. It's I don't know. I guess that's just a normal part of life. I can't completely dunk on people for that, because I was a young angry man once. I'm still fairly young and I'm angry, but now just at these dudes instead. But yeah, it is sad. But, you know, welcome to the stream, man. How's it going? Good. I mean, it's morning here. Good morning. How are you? I'm Mabasei, and YouTube keeps recommending me this dude and videos. And for some, I just wanted to get this just all out of my head. And I feel like it's good content, and it's good. And I feel like it's good that for anyone who does hang out here to get a feel of kind of who I am when I'm not like kind of, I don't know, memeing around or whatever the fuck on a game so like it doesn't like sneak up on you. I'd hate to that SJU to sneak up on you.
It's literally every day for several months. From all of that, I put together some more clues about why this person might be similarly corporate-backed in the literal exact same way that Anita Sarkeesian fairly obviously was, with a production team behind Contrapoints that knows what they are doing a bit better than they did with Anita, and a much higher budget than Anita's fairly low-quality videos that never even got finished. I mean, Anita raised $1 million, but clearly didn't use it all on her videos.
She committed to the series, and over the course of you fuckers constantly harassing this person, just people felt sympathetic, and as well as other organizations or whatever that she likely went to or whatever, and got her shit funded. Because Feminist Frequency isn't just a channel. Right, it's like a whole little fucking company that's about like her and advocacy and attempting to spread media literacy and put out things about feminist theory and stuff. Analysis. What the fuck? Like $1 million is actually pretty low for attempting to do like a project like that, where like this woman is like flies all over the world and stuff like that to conferences and talks and stuff. Like that's pretty low, honestly, in terms of like startup capital. Only $1 million for something like that, and she's got other people working there, including fucking yeah, I'm not sure if McIntosh is still there, but I know that I feel really bad. Names, that black lady, the trans lady, of course herself, some of the people who do the camera and the lighting, whoever the fuck is doing her makeup, the people doing the editing, the people who do the sets on these videos now. Like what? That's nothing. And fucking women versus tropes in video games, it did get finished.
I'll give you guys the clues, starting with the earliest ones. The first thing we should note is that even in Contra's old, low-budget videos, before Contra got hundreds or $1,000 worth of lighting, way better editing, thousands of dollars worth of wigs, costumes, makeup, props, etc., and what I suspect to be joke writers that livened up the scripts with edgy, but usually completely inane and irrelevant humor, Contrapoints had a framed picture of Anita Sarkeesian in the background of their videos. This seemed like a fairly obvious and legitimate dog whistle to the left, which definitely could have been inspired by Matt Christensen's channel, which had a framed picture of Milo Yiannopoulos in the background, so by itself, it might not have seemed all that weird. However, as time...
Are you fucking serious? That even occurred to you as like a clue? It's obviously a riff on that, on what that fucker, or even the idea that we worship her. What's wrong with you? Like, who would even think in these incredibly stupid conspiratorial ways? What is with the right wing and conspiracy theory? Like why? Why? And it's always over some really weird, pathetic, dumb shit. Like, who runs the music industry, or controlled opposition on YouTube, and like shit like that. Like, at least the fucking dumbass shit libs were all up in arms about fucking Russiagate or whatever. Like, at least that's fucking, like, that's really relevant. Is our president a fucking foreign national plan, dude? What? That's fucking... Dude, that's major. I didn't really ever really believe it, but, you know, like, at least that makes sense to really be concerned about. But this kid's in his, like, fucking, I wish I had, like, a wall or something here. I'm gonna fucking get the green screen out and fucking put the fucking board, fucking get the photo here, and bookcase. That's Sarkeesian. And it's framed. Fucking leftist established media. Connection confirmed. Gentlemen, we got her.
Time went on, it started to become clear that Contra was doing more than just dog whistling about Anita, and apparently they were friends. Judging by this art that Contrapoints commissioned for Anita, and then not long after that, Contra appeared on the Feminist Frequency podcast. So
it's a podcast and they did it over Skype. Like, what the fuck is wrong with this person? And also, yeah, like by the time this happened, even if she did fly out, Natalie was making some really decent money off Patreon at this time. What is wrong with this dude? What? Why? What do you have to know that these people were friends? People online, especially on the online left, were especially kind to each other all the time. Like, there's this one dude, really sweet gay guy who's like a fucking top-notch fucking audio engineer and / video editor. And he offered to fucking edit any fucking person of color, like leftist, who wants to make content. He offered to do our shit like for free if we, if we want, because he needs it for like his portfolio. But whatever, like just pro bono. Mixing, mastering your audio, editing your fucking footage or whatever the fuck for free. I don't know this dude from a can of paint, but he's willing. I DM'd him. He's fucking for real. Like, that shit's normal for us. I'm sorry that it's not normal for you guys to be nice, I guess, because you don't have the same kind of principles, because, like socialism, communism, social, the communal, so you don't, see things the same way. But like, dude, that's nothing. You're fucking crazy. Fuck, what's next? The fucking Eye of Horus is watching us? What the fuck? Right needs to dispel conspiracy theories. A part of their fundamental idea. Yup. Yeah, that's essentially all they globalists are, or postmodern neo-Marxist. That's all that is. That's essentially what that is. Even then, and the worst part is, you know what I hate the most out of everything? Honestly, though, like, their ideology is repugnant. The fact that they think they're fucking new. Like, this fucking accusing the left of being this evil subversive force or whatever the fuck in the world is the same shit that they did to any and everyone. They did that shit to fucking. They did that shit to Malcolm X. They did that shit to fucking Martin Luther King. They did that shit to the Black Panthers. They did that shit to the fucking hippies. They did that shit to fucking leaders of trade unions. They did that shit to everyone. Everyone. You're not new. You're not saying anything at all that not everyone has all heard before. And they really think they're doing something. Like, they really think they're doing something. It's so weird. Like there'll be some dudes from fucking America, and they're like, haha, yo, dude, I fucking, made this little something, dunking on the fucking commies. Everyone fucking loved it. And, like, your video is more likely very much so distributed to, like, the American market and shit. And, like, yeah, it's America, the home of the place where we, like, put people on lists for being just suspected of being a fucking commie. and like ruin their entire shit. Like what? Like of course that went over well. What the fuck is this? How the fuck do you? Who is? What am I supposed to be impressed by here? I don't understand these people.
So it was kind of beyond obvious. We can only guess how they became friends. Eventually, more and more blog articles started coming out about Contrapoints being the best political commentary on YouTube. I guess with the Young Turks and Cat Black as the only competition. And similar to Anita, this almost certainly only reached all sorts of blue pill individuals who don't actually know anything about YouTube, similar to the way that I learned about feminist frequency back when I was relatively blue pilled myself. Then,
he unironically uses blue pill and red in the dumb reactionary way. It's a fucking movie made by two trans women who went on to tell you afterwards that it's a fucking metaphor for being trans. Why so stupid? Oh my god. I hate these people. Oh my god. Why do I do this to me? Like, why? I'm a pretty decent guy. I feel like I'm nice. I'm pleasant. I fucking, you know, I cat kids. I get up, go to work every day, even if I don't fucking want to. I pay my taxes. You know? Why do I do this to me? Why do I think that I deserve this? Also explains why most centrist sites usually wind up believing in Jewish conspiracy, even while supporting states of fascism like Israel at the time. At the same time, oof. Yeah, except for like the alt-right supports Israel because they want that shit. They want Israel to exist because they hate Muslims and they want somewhere where they can possibly, you know, ship the Jews that they don't fucking gas back to.
Contrapoints ended up speaking themselves at the exact same festival that Anita had in 2014, which I showed the footage of earlier, XOXO, but in 2018. And Contra basically sounded almost exactly the same in terms of saying things that anybody who really follows YouTube and the culture war would immediately know are untrue.
And I guess I realized in last year that I need to transition. It wasn't an option. It was just what I had to do to live, be alive. And that was unfortunate for my YouTube career because...
Similarly complaining about how mean people are on the internet in the exact same way Anita did.
Because...
Oh no! The internet is still a fucking reactionary cesspool filled with transphobic, racist, sexist, bigoted bitches. I'm sorry. Was something about this be supposed to change? Had you at some point, had you and all the other dregs like you left? Like what? Why? Like what is this? And even then, if they share the same ideology and talk about some of the same stuff, right? Like, of course they're gonna get some of that same crowd, whatever, like heckling and trying to fuck with them. So, like, of course they're still gonna they're still gonna be being poked and prodded at and upset at some of the same crowds. Like, that just makes sense. Like what he's saying doesn't have to go to this weird, insane level that I feel like it seems like he's building toward, like corporations or whatever. It'd just be two women of two similar ideological backgrounds facing the same backlash from basically the same crowd, just at different points in time. That is perfectly possible and makes way less assumptions. Right? And she did a fucking speech similarly as someone who she shares a whole lot of ideological ground with. Huh. That's a conspiracy, I say. A conspiracy. Oh boy. Obama's rhetoric and Hillary's rhetoric were pretty similar on a lot of stuff, huh? It's almost like they're in the same political party. Like they've got the same handlers.
As I had watched for a long time the way trans women, all women really, are treated on YouTube. And so when I realized that me, as this person with this anti-4chan Nazi YouTube channel, was gonna now have to become a trans woman, I was like, oh shit. I'm very thoroughly fucked.
And of course, Contra contradicts themselves pretty blatantly over the course of that speech, which Contra has a habit of doing regularly, which is why I often call them self-contradictopoints.
Oh, boys, that's a... Oh, man, that was... Do you have kids? Because that joke was a real fucking stinker. Oh, man, I call her self-contradictopoint. Oh, man, that's going to be a no for me, dog. But also, showing the fact that she has some YouTube success doesn't prove anything. There are people with like millions of subs or whatever, and probably like lots of money from doing this. And they could still be seen as, they could still talk about how they get people try to bully them or harass them online or whatever. And I would imagine that as they get bigger, it would only get worse. They wouldn't get less to complain about. They would get even more to complain about, because now they've got more reach. There's more opportunity for more people to find them who disagree or are just maybe a little fucked in the head, who would want to fuck with them. And that's just normal. And right, and it doesn't require a corporate conspiracy. Like this is a fucking Resident Evil game. Why? I can't comprehend why you would go this way. Why? Imagine lacking this much empathy. Like my dude. Like you know, because he's also, I guess, a part of the LGBT, right? He's gay. And, I mean, he just, like, fuck it, whatever. He's like, I'm not one of those fucking, I'm not like those other gays. I'm a cool gay. You can say the F slur around me, or whatever. At least that's what it seems like to me. Like, he was like, you let words offend you? Nothing personal, kid, but that's not my style.
So, I used to be a little bit of a man. I'm not proud of it, but these things happen. We all make mistakes. More generally speaking, it's not a good idea to be a woman.
Another odd thing is...
How is that a contradiction? You think that's a contradiction? He said, I used to be a man, because that's how she views it. That's how Contra views herself. I'm not trans. I'm not educated, whatever. I'm just telling you what she thinks of herself, and that's fine if she thinks that. It's okay. Whatever. As for me as a cis person, I don't know what the fuck that is. If that's the right way to say it, the wrong way to say it, whatever, it's none of my business. All the T-girls can, I don't know, fucking claw our eyes out about it somewhere else. Whatever. But that like doesn't contradict being a woman is not bad, but not fun. That's like me saying, like, you know, I'm black, you know, we lit. You know, we be in this bitch. Niggas in this bitch lit. Almost everything culturally that you think is raw about American culture comes from niggas. The root of just about every single American musical genre comes from black people. We lit. Hands down, no question. Until the cops come around, and then being black is definitely not a good idea, not a good look. Or being in a job interview, probably better to not be black in that situation either. Generally, outside of that, that very specific thing that I just said, it's actually really not great. It's not so great. It's not so great. It's not all it's cracked up to be, and maybe I embellish it. Like, that doesn't contradict what I just said. Shit could be lit in a lot of ways, and shit could be terrible in a lot of ways. Okay? It could have been the worst, the best of times, and the worst of times. Those aren't necessarily contradictions. I don't know why you think it is. It's as if you have some sort of weird, dumbass, completely two-dimensional way of viewing being alive or being a person. There's probably if you could just apply this to the individual, it makes sense. Like, there are certain things about being whoever the fuck this real name is, being you and just being yourself. There are ways that are like, oh man, this is awesome. But then there are things that fucking suck about it. Those things aren't in contradiction. That's how they work. If anything, they complement each other. There are good and bad, pros and cons, about the experiences just like everyone. Whatever.
That while I believe, though don't quote me on this, that Contrapoints pretends to be similarly nonpartisan.
That anyone that speaks out about transformism harassment must be some kind of cabal. Probably. I think so. They'd stick every landing. Not gonna lie, dude. Except for like bluegrass. Bluegrass is shit. I think so. Yeah, probably. What's bluegrass rooted in? Bluegrass. Nope. Apparently we got a pinky in bluegrass as well. It was also influenced by the blues and jazz. See, I said we lit till the cops come. Then we lit up. Heyo! Just kidding. It's not good.
In the way that Anita Sarkeesian did, Contra not so subtly
Wait, I didn't notice you were streaming. It happens. What's going on, Skillful Man? Their own idea of Sherlock, the Moffat Sherlock, where everything he assumes out of thin air and floating capture. Well, did not know that. It happens, man. I didn't know it either. I thought you were right. I never even thought about bluegrass, honestly. Especially if it's coming out of Appalachia, right? Like there were no niggas in Appalachia, right? Like that's weird. It's weird, isn't it? Weird. Nothing much. I was just trying to stream. That's what's up, man.
Advocated that people vote for Democrats in the video about the apocalypse that they released, which of course was about global warming, a tried and true Democratic Party talking point. Because, of course, Obama did legalize propaganda, so if the Democrats wanted to sponsor Contra, it would be legal.
And
hold on, we gotta check this out. We gotta check the source on that. Why do these people watch? I bet you, just like that fucking Breitbart idol, this isn't even gonna say what he says it says. I bet you. I bet my left nut. Business CAA. Use on the American people. All right, that's good. It is the newest version of National Defense Authorization. Okay. Damn. Off my dick. You're gonna look at these. You're gonna look at these ads, boy. You're gonna look at them. Pay good money for them. You're gonna look at them. Oh, that's kidding. Yeah, I appreciate what they do. Pay your writers. Thanks. National Defense Amendment that would legalize, of course, Michael Hastings amendment. What? Michael Hastings of BuzzFeed. So you're taking a Business Insider article that cites BuzzFeed, a source that I know you fucking hate, because it happens to confirm a bias that you fucking have. Oh my fucking god. All right, let's keep running. We're gonna keep reading. We're gonna keep going, boys. We're gonna keep going. Watch this if you have a bunker. A bunker. Air raid siren. I'm glad this was muted. Oh yeah, dude. Is that out yet? When does that come out? I need that. I need that in my fucking life. Dude, Halo is so good. Oh my god. How we gonna go together? We get by. There we go. These the means of bunker production? Yeah, that's fine. That works. It's not out yet. Aw, man. Don't be blue balling me like that. I'm supposed to be checking this goddamn source. Oh my god. The amendment proposed by Mac Thornberry. And so this is, you said under Obama. This amendment was proposed by a Republican and a Democrat. This shit has nothing to do with Obama. Why did he blame Obama? Because he didn't veto it? Obama didn't veto anything. Even things that would hurt things that he personally wanted to push for. What? Like, he unironically just pulled the "thanks, Obama" meme. Like, what the fuck is this? You just take random screenshots of fucking articles you haven't read and just stick them in the video?
And if you're American...
This is literally the second time it's happened. And the first time it happened, it was a Breitbart article. How do you misquote Breitbart?
Vote this monumental ding-dong out of the Oval Office in 2020 before the entire planet shrinks and transforms into a corn cob. So let me get this straight. You want me to go vegan, drive a Prius, and vote Democrat. You're basically asking me to completely change who I am.
Sees
as a
the
person
memes of
and become
nuclear
everything I
fallout
hate.
protection. There you go.
Also, just over a month ago or so, Vice magazine dropped a short little documentary for Contra, which is basically an advertisement for the channel, which of course tries a bit too hard to sell people on a completely idealized version of Contra's career.
Natalie Wynn is trying to de-radicalize YouTube. She uses 15 wigs, $1,000 in props, and hours of makeup to make 30-minute videos about the political fights of the internet. She creates dialogues between characters and plays all of them. She writes, films, edits it all herself.
How could I possibly be a Nazi?
The result is a pretty complex discussion about subjects like the alt-right, transgender pronouns.
Now, I assure you, as somebody who's actually worked with fancy lighting and with props, excessive makeup and wigs, etc., that's almost certainly untrue. The whole thing, especially with the corporate Vice magazine video promotion, reeks of corporate sponsorship by itself. I'd honestly say that even if Contra was vaguely funny off the cuff, which isn't true, and thus could write decent jokes into their scripts, considering how non-funny they are on streams, there's basically no way Contra is writing all those jokes, setting up all that lighting while in those ridiculous costumes and caked-on makeup, then...
Okay, so there's just no way because you say so. Because in your anecdotal experience, you don't think it's possible because it wasn't possible in your experience, or you just didn't, you've never seen it happen. In whose world does that make any fucking sense? This is supposed to be an argument? Is this supposed to be some kind of evidence? Like what? And whether or not Contra is funny or not is completely subjective. And I can't believe this dude. This fucker's talking about who is and who is not fucking funny. When he called her fucking, that's why he's Mr. That's why I often call her self-contradictor points. What? Kid, you can't be laying out stinkers like that while fucking, they'll say we'll be ready when it's ready. I'm sorry. I messaged you. Sorry. You laying out stinkers like that while trying to criticize other people's fucking sense of humor? Bitch, what? Bitch, what? Right? Oh shit, dude. If Ashton Kutcher hadn't stopped doing punked and devoted his life to, I don't know, saving people from sex trafficking or human trafficking or whatever the fuck, I thought I would be punked right now. Because this can't be real. It can't be. It makes no fucking sense. What? Like, I don't laugh at everything that fucking Natalie puts in a video, but wow. You don't set up, that's another thing I was gonna say. You don't set up the lighting while you're in the costume. Exactly. I set up all this lighting and shit for the stream before I even put my shirt on, before I've even brushed my teeth or whatever. Like, what? I'm still in my underwear while I'm getting these fucking soft boxes at the right angles and all that stuff. And when I've cut on that, like the lamp and the other thing over there, and make sure everything's well lit, so that we can get a consistent lighting, and I've already tweaked with my fucking the internal digital settings on the camera and the webcam, like before, right? Like that's exactly, and the same thing like with the with the DSLR behind here. You've already tweaked with your ISO, picture lens, set the focus, set it where it was before probably before you've even washed your face that day or whatever. Like, this is just stupid. Secret sponsored media company? Yes. Yes, he does. Also, he somehow thinks that because Vice did a piece on her, that they're sponsoring her. Vice also did a piece on the fucking idiots who were at fucking Charlottesville. Does that mean that they're sponsoring them? Or what about when they do pieces on random fucking gangs or fucking bands? Are they also corporately sponsored? Ooh, man. Ooh, shit, dude. Like I've missed something. I'm sorry, dude. We're just dicking around on some fucking YouTube politics. I'm sorry. I know this is not the scheduled program that so you signed up for, but like, it's a really big part of me. We're not really setting it to the side. We'll still play games and stuff, and I'd like to talk about other stuff in general, but like this is just like a thing of mine. You know, it's okay if you don't want to hang out, man. What is this? Every time I click a link, I'll drop some. I need to upgrade. What is this? Don't leave. I want to hear what this is now. What is this? Is this thing gonna say the N-word? I'm serious. Use lights on wherever she films. Yeah, in her latest video, it seemed like there were other people there, so she might be using like a studio or like a local YouTube space or something like that. So weird. Whose SoundCloud music is this? One or two rooms. Yeah. There's only certain places where it seems like she actually filmed somewhere different and stuff. That's pretty good. Actually, I thought we were gonna link me some shit that yelled the N-word at me for.
And repositioning it all for each new scene, not to mention the good editing, which Contra seemingly wasn't capable of back before 2018, when it became somewhat public that YouTube was sponsoring channels. I don't know, maybe Contra's in.
What do you mean? Oh, she got a fucking... that she might have gotten a grant or something because they seen the effort that she was putting in and all that shit. All types of channels get all those types of fucking grants and pushes and stuff. Like, what? Like, this just sounds like you're just envious that she might have gotten the fucking one of those grants or whatever, and you didn't. Getting a new GPU soon. Oh, that's what's up, man. I didn't even know you played on PC. Well, you know, welcome aboard, okay? Welcome to the master race. Leftist? Yeah, it's weird. No, fuck weird. It's stupid.
Intern Theron helps. And of course, you can look for yourself. The comment section under the Vice video is overrun with gushing comments from people who can't all be real, claiming things
They all can't all be real. They can't all be real because they don't think the same thing about Natalie that you do. All right, my dude. Yep. Because you exist in an echo chamber that absolutely loathes people like Natalie. That means that they're actually the majority of the fucking world, and everyone else is just stupid, dumb, poopy heads, and we don't know no better. Okay. Yeah, we're fucking ghosts. Ghost. Toast. That's good. Anyway. Oh, I think someone knocked on my fucking door. What the fuck is this? It's like 8 in the morning. Out there. Weird. Don't know what to do with that one. What am I doing? How you guys doing? We ghosts? Woo! Strawman. Strawman what? What are we doing?
things like, Contrapoints is the greatest philosopher and intellectual comedian to ever grace the internet. Natalie Wynn saved me from being alt-right. And then even this comment, which I think is overselling it. Of course, I can't prove that's a fake account or anything, but it kind of seems like all sorts of them are overselling their alleged fandom of the most heinous YouTuber on the platform.
Okay, just because you find her to be heinous doesn't mean they do. What's wrong with you? Why do you project your opinion of Natalie out into the world like this is a fact? It's not a fact. It's your view, and you're entitled to it. You can't fucking project it onto everything else and be like, no, this thing is actually objectively fucking bad. And everyone who says they like it is fucking lying, or is paid to, or is a fake, or bot. What? What the fuck is wrong with you? We should do that actually, at some point.
Also, there's this mysterious channel who sprung up less than a month ago, claiming that he used to be alt-light, and already has more than a few subscribers, even though he only has a few awful videos. And the kicker? He claims Contrapoints was his inspiration.
I came across another YouTuber called Contrapoints. And Natalie, I mean, I had this aversion
don't care about your feelings.
because
By
I had all
that,
these
I
goofy
mean
ideas about trans people. But Natalie,
my
she
feelings
just
are
spoke
right
me.
and yours are
She
wrong.
spoke my language. She was like one of me. She, you know, we were about the same age, and
no, Contrapoints is older than you. Like they're like old enough to be like grooming you.
she understood the culture that
Grooming you? This dude's in his mid-20s. What?
I was in. She
Oh,
understood
shit.
the memes. She understood the philosophy. She understood the motivations, and she was able to repeat back to me why I found it so compelling. Whereas when I would talk to most leftists or liberals, they wouldn't
Oh my
know.
god.
They
What's
would just
happening?
call
The
me a
chop.
racist.
Help.
And to be honest with you, and this is part of the reason I'm making this video, is to help educate people. That didn't work. That pushed me further and further away. The only thing that made me believe was that I'm the red-pilled one.
Oh gee, that totally didn't seem like an actor trying to oversell a corporate product at all. Obviously, if the progressive left was sponsoring YouTube videos, they'd never try way too hard to get people to like a small pack of YouTube channels to maintain some influence on the internet by having an army of trolls and actors singing their praises and acting like they are hip. I mean, assuming he isn't trolling Contrapoints and their fans, but regardless, it just kind of seems like he's trying to show something to investors so that they feel good about having invested in Contra.
God damn it. There. Oh. All right, everything seems back. I think it looks like we're back everywhere. Get that man off the crack pipe. Yikes. Oh shit, dude. It's a little weird. Like, dude, this fucker thinks like two people who stopped just short of getting a doctorate in philosophy, a kid who studied, I think, what, CS in school, and then who else? some fucking dude who I think dropped out of university and fucking is been like video game streaming and fucking just making little fucking reply guy jab type videos, though they are really good, behind a skull with sunglasses is fucking. Oh, thanks for subscription. What is it? It's a following or a subscription? You gotta check. Sure. The Talbot Hound. Oh, thanks, man. Really appreciate it, dude. Welcome aboard, man. God damn it. Again, what the fucking what? Let's go. I think that's from this one. Why do you do this to me? But like, I don't know. Man, he probably say like, how do you even know that those stories are real? Frame skips. Oof. Big fucking oof, dude. Like, what the fuck? I really wish it would stop. It's me. I just didn't know that you had a Twitch channel. Oh, it's cool. But you know, thanks, man.
Or whatever.
Donald Trump thinks building a wall will make America great again. But that's none of my business. My business is a foreign policy so good, you'll want a Harlem Shake.
Now, one of the reasons Contrapoints keeps getting praise, at least from the seeming sock puppets and actors, is that Contrapoints speaks to and communicates with the right wing. This is blatantly untrue, of course, because although Contra did do a stream with Blair White and Sargon, who, by the way, aren't even right-wing but centrists anyhow, the literal...
That's a outright lie. Blair White identifies as a fucking conservative. And Sargon is a part of fucking UKIP, United Kingdom's Independence Party. One of the biggest like party that would push the idea of fucking of Brexit, and they still want, and they're one of the biggest advocates for a fucking hard Brexit. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking that's not a right wing memer to you? In whose fucking world? Oh my god.
Only other right-wing-ish person Contra has ever done any sort of debate or stream with that I know of is Roaming Millennial. Now, Roaming Millennial is, no offense, so incredibly nice that Contra was never truly pressed on the tough questions Contra gave insufficient answers for, and it honestly seemed kind of scripted, as if Contra had already formulated each response ahead of time. And of course,
oh my god, it's as if this person reached out to her, asked her if she wanted to talk about a specific subject, and then she fucking made sure to organize and possibly even write down her fucking thoughts to make sure that she wouldn't get fucking tripped up or that her answers wouldn't come out sloppy. Oh man, dude, you're blowing my mind with this shit. That's crazy. Oh, madness. No way that something like that would happen. Oh.
Contra's answers are ridden with doublethink, blatant self-contradictions, and Contra often stating things that are about one molecule away from full-blown lies, like the following.
Well, Theron actually pointed this out to me. She showed me there's a clip of an interview with Peterson on a podcast somewhere where he's kind of pushed on the non-binary thing, and he actually says at some point that like he's sure that there is probably some kind of biological or genetic basis for some people being sort of atypical with respect to gendered traits, and perhaps that being a foundation of non-binary gender. So he actually probably believes that there is such a thing as non-binary genders. Like I think he actually believes that. So
okay, It's a bit more than a leap and a bound to state that because Professor Kermit thinks that there is likely some biological and or genetic basis for androgynous people, or whatever he actually meant, that this therefore means that he acknowledges the validity of non-binary people, who, remember, are usually white girls claiming that they have no gender at all, thus feeling perfectly entitled to demand they-them pronouns from everybody around them. And I think Contra knows that perfectly well. Soon after, Lauren Chen, aka Roaming Millennial, asks a fairly straightforward question, obviously hoping for a clear answer that I'm sure Contra could have easily given her, but of course, as if Contra has something to hide, they sidestepped it and went in like 4 directions in under a minute.
In other words, it's good to have within a workplace or within academia a set of rules that say, look, if a person, if you know their pronouns, don't misgender them, because this essentially it's bullying. It's like using racial slurs. It's very it makes things very uncomfortable for trans people, and there's just no reason to do it. So I think that for the sake of making keeping universities from being very difficult places for trans people to
So
be,
Derek from
I think
Game
it's a
explains it's
reasonable
good
rule.
somebody else's
I mean,
voice.
For that, would you say that someone's refusal to recognize non-binary identities, either to an individual or just conceptually, would you define that as bullying in and of itself?
So not conceptually. If someone argues like that they don't think that there is such a thing as a non-binary gender, I think that it's an idea that can be discussed and that maybe needs to be discussed, especially since this is an idea that I think most people are not familiar with. I do think, though, that it's good for there to be a norm that if someone says, call me they, them, you just call them they, them, or you make a good faith effort to, I think that, and that's as far as it really goes. I think there's this whole thing about ZZ or pronouns that it's just like, I asked my question to the audience, how many people in your life do you know that insist on ZZ or pronouns? This issue is like really blown out.
Well, yeah, I mean, I know we hear about it a lot, but I've only in my life met one person who asked to be called they, them.
Worse, when Lauren does the unthinkable and actually asks a completely clear and great question in the same vein as Jordan Peterson's actual criticisms of Canada's Bill C-16, Contra basically refuses to answer by doing something leftists love to do. Just reframe the question entirely and answer a question Lauren Chen didn't even ask.
But I think there is a difference to be made between that and compelled speech, right? Because in the pronoun issue, regardless, and again, like this isn't something that every person has to deal with by any means, but there is a difference between saying, hey, you can't say this, and saying, hey, you must say this. And I guess for someone who is very strong in their opposition to the idea of non-binary genders, saying that you have to call someone Z or Zer could be interpreted as saying you have to admit that this is real by the fact that you are using that pronoun.
Yeah, so I think that, well, let's not do Z and Zer because that's just too much of a distraction. But suppose someone is like, they just refuse to accept that the validity of trans people's gender in general. Should such a person be like required by law
And then, to add insult to injury, much later in the story,
that's the exact same fucking criticism. If you disagree with these people's identity, should you be required, if you're going to be interacting with them in certain specific like things, such as being an employer or being their teacher or being their fucking landlord or whatever, should you be required by law to use their shit or be fined or whatever, like in Canada? And also in New York, if you're a business owner or a landlord. That's, my God, these skips. Why does it keep skipping? You keep skipping. What the fuck? How would you handle trans people in the prison system? For the most part, you stick them where you would put anyone who identified, like anyone else who was I guess what it's cis people, people who just think that their gender and body match up or whatever. We just put them right where they are. So if you're a trans man, you would go to man jail. If you're a trans woman, you would go to lady jail. And then we would, care, make sure that they have their hormones and all that other stuff taken care of. That's what it is. My fucking bit rate is dropping like crazy. I have to consider something to get this shit to stop, because it's not the CPU, it's just the internet is dropping packages a lot. The reptilian gynecologist. American internet. Oh boy, it'd be like that. No, I said you would just stick them wherever it is that they're, whatever the thing that they are supposed to be, right? Like what they say they are. So you put a trans man in jail with all the men, and a trans woman in jail with all the women. I hope that came through. God damn it. I'm gonna run this. Okay, download speed. Fine. He's in prison. I'm not sure about all that. I guess we just deal with it when we cross that bridge when we come to it. But honestly, things like fucking guards knocking up chicks in the prison system, at least in America, is far more common than trans women doing it or whatever. Oh well, the reptilian conspiracies go up to anyone who annoys you in day-to-day life and just accuse them of being a reptile. Oh shit, that fucker cut me off. An intersection. Cut me off an interstate. Fucking reptilians. Oh. Brilliant, actually.
Contra finally shows their true colors and basically admits that if a non-binary identified Stalin or Chairman Mao like character was rising to power, that person would have Contra's full support or something, as if they were comrades or whatever.
But I get what you're saying. There's a difference between a government law versus something that we accept as common etiquette. You can't go into a workplace and just yell penis, vagina.
Yeah.
Right.
And
I guess
you are
I
a
would
reptile.
still disagree with the idea that you have a right to be comfortable. You have a right to be made safe in an area. But and so this is a kind of relates to something that someone else asked. This is from Bost. Question: where does she Contra think the line should be drawn? What if someone calls her he in a classroom? What should the consequences be? So I guess we're talking now about what is and what is not acceptable. But when it comes to this institutional code or whatever, again, not government, do you think that like things like expulsion are reasonable, or I guess having something on your permanent record or whatever?
Yeah, I mean, the way I would imagine this works is, and the way academic discipline usually works, like you get a warning, don't do this, then you start getting, suspensions and things. That seems a reasonable way for me to deal with it. And again, I'm not saying this is because I have a right to be comfortable, to be not offended. Like, I mean, we're on YouTube right now. I understand that people in the comments section are going to say horrible things about me, and
we're both Jewish, apparently.
Contra was clearly actively avoiding answering the question initially, because if those two statements came immediately after each other in a clear way, it would prove that Peterson was entirely correct, and that people like Contra do precisely want exactly what he feared. A way to persecute non-intersectional gender deconstructionist people on campus and in workplace environments, helping to give the far left leverage in ruining the lives of anybody who crosses them, as they can always blow the whistle on
Skip. Yeah, it's not you. It's me. I see it. I see the bit rate. I set it up actually pretty high so that its range could, like, even if I do drop a little bit, it won't go beneath. It wouldn't go beneath a certain point. But now it keeps dropping beneath that point. Between between 5 and 3,000, maybe. Yeah, maybe plus. It's like fine, but once it drops down to that 2, oof, there it is. Ugh. All right, let's. God damn it, are we back? Or